Okay, we're going live. We got 20 people in the chat. I'll do a formal start for the people who are just coming in. I'll do like an official, okay, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully this goes to the right place. We'll find out. I think we're live. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Telosive Talks podcast. It has been far too long. I know it's been delayed, and I've been wanting to get back to this soon, but I've just needed a good justification to do it, and of course, you can't podcast all by yourself, so today, I'm joined with the ever so beautiful and ever so talented Telosive wife, Louise Erickson. How's it going?
Hey, guys. I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. I'm excited for this. So we've had a lot of aspirations to do things like this in the past. So obviously it's multicam and it's live on YouTube. So we're hoping to interact with the audience a little bit, but we're not going to be completely just interacting with audience messages because we have our own scheduled topics and things we'd like to discuss. And we're just going to play it by ear, trying to keep it casual, try to keep it fun. And yeah, we've wrote down some ideas we'd like to discuss, but we hope you guys will enjoy it. And if you have questions for us, please feel free to tweet us at Telosive Talks, or feel free to super chat, as you can do on the Telosive Talks channel. First super chat from Rockford Tech, who said hello. Thank you for the donations. So, how are you doing? Are you good?
Well, I'm feeling a little tired.
Yeah.
Because I've been up for 6 hours now.
6 hours?
Yeah. I'm ready for my second nap of the day.
Second nap? Well, see, right before we left the house, it was like 11 p.m. and you were already p.m. Oh, sorry, a.m. Yeah, it was not 11 p.m. I didn't leave that long ago. But you were like falling asleep as we were watching TV.
Yeah.
And now you're sleepy again?
Yeah, I mean, we've done so much today. Like, we went out and got breakfast.
Oh, that was rough.
We came home. We watched TV.
What was that, a 2-minute drive?
Exactly. No, I'm feeling relaxed, but
Good.
I'm excited to start this and excited to talk about our topics for today.
Yeah. So today we're kind of celebrating Valentine's Day for each other as it's our first Valentine's Day as a married couple. I'm just now clicking with that. What did we do last year? We were dating last year.
Yes, we went out to like a diner. And
which diner? Oh, sorry.
I'm not going to say the
Don't
diner.
say which. We went to a diner.
Yeah.
Do we go to it regularly?
Yes.
Okay.
And then we just spent the day together, and it was super chill. Like, we weren't like making a big deal out of it and, you know, getting dressed in ball gowns or anything like that.
Sure. But the reason we're celebrating Valentine's Day today is because you got work on actual Valentine's Day, right?
Yes. Unfortunately, they scheduled me for overtime. So instead, I'll be making money.
Darn. Just making money.
When I'd rather just be with you.
And I'm sorry this table separates us. That was like her first comment.
There's a wall.
We're so distant. I don't know. I wanted it to feel... I wanted to have this like layout so that I could cut between the angles and stuff. But yeah, we're both probably going to be working on actual Valentine's Day. But there's a lot of people who get kind of lonely, get kind of sad around Valentine's Day because typically they're either alone, or I even know some people who were commenting in some of my more recent live streams that were like recently broken up.
Really?
And that just makes Valentine's Day even more sad. So I don't know. Do you have advice to people who aren't so happy on Valentine's Day or are feeling lonesome?
Yes, definitely.
What's that?
I think you definitely don't need someone in your life to feel complete. I think self-love is such an important thing. And so on Valentine's Day, if you're feeling alone, just take that day to take care of yourself, like pamper yourself. I know that sounds kind of weird if you're a guy, like you're not going to be taking bubble baths. But hey, you know, it's 2019. Everyone should be able to take bubble baths. And what?
You can look at me.
I thought I was looking at the camera.
Well, that camera's not on, so it's just easier if you lock eye contact. Just pretend like the cameras aren't here.
Okay.
And
Sorry.
you can have a conversation with me.
So yeah, Drew, if you're feeling lonely, just take a bubble bath while I'm gone. Listen to some chill music. Just, I don't know, do something you enjoy. Like, don't focus too much on, like, sorry,
I wouldn't pay attention to the chat. We're just having a conversation.
Okay, sorry, this chat.
I know it's distracting.
It's cracking me up.
That's fine.
So yeah, guys,
it's all right.
Try to love yourself and forget that, you know, there are other people who are happier than you.
So in your opinion, does Valentine's Day exclusively mean romantic? Because I think that's a common assumption. In my mind, Valentine's Day, when I was growing up, at least, it could kind of be like something to just show someone you care or love them. Like for instance, my mom, like that you could get a Valentine's Day gift for your mom. Because when I was much younger, obviously I wasn't dating anyone. So do you see it that way, or did you grow up that way at all? Or
No, I agree with you. Like I remember being in grade school and getting Valentine's for like everyone in your class, and I think that kind of attitude is better than just focusing on the romantic side. Like having friendships with other people is also important. And I've heard of people, like females specifically, they do a Galentine's Day. So, they go out with,
heard of that. Yeah.
Their friends and just do something fun. Yeah. It doesn't have to be romantic, guys.
Well, so gals have Galentine's Day. Is there something guys can do if you're just a guy with a bunch of buds?
Galentine's Day?
Galentine? That could
guy.
work. That could work.
I don't know.
I just think it's more of a day to celebrate just kind of who you care about. And that's not exclusively limited to romance.
Right.
I think. Because if it is that, then it quickly becomes depressing. Everyone's like, I don't have a romantic partner.
What's the history of it? Wasn't Valentine like a saint or something? Or
that sounds right. Saint sounds correct.
Someone will have to look this up for us.
Someone might be able to help us in the. Oh yeah, Sub says guys have Game Times Day.
Oh,
so
someone said Gorlentine's Day. I like that.
That might work, but when there's a pressure for things to be romantic, things can go wrong really quickly.
Yeah.
I think we've not been married terribly long, but I think when there's an expectation that things are going to be romantic, there's just potential for things to go wrong.
Right. This is why I have very low expectations for Drew, because then he exceeds them all the time. He's a great husband, honestly.
I'm the same way with Apple events.
Yeah. You expect them to be bad, so that
right. I expect iOS 13 is going to be boring, or the next iPhone's not going to be big. So that hopefully, when something does happen, it's kind of exciting and you can look forward to it. So that's my goal. They're already noticing that I shaved a little bit, except I didn't shave.
Well, what do you guys think of it? First of all,
does it look good? I mean, I'm amazed. This camera's not very good. The Lumix cameras are kind of old and they don't showcase that much detail, but I'm impressed that they can notice that.
I think your beard's growing out, like
more full.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in regards to like romantics and stuff being pressured on people, we've been watching a show recently that we both kind of enjoy, but in not a direct way. I kind of laugh at the show as we watch it. What show is this, hon?
It's a show called 90 Day Fiancé. And it's very entertaining and dramatic.
Right.
Like normally we don't really watch that much reality TV, but this is something that's just intriguing because our story is so different from other people's. I think
that's why it's so popular.
Right.
Is because not that many people have that 90 Day Fiancé story of like having to 3 months to kind of plan the whole wedding and then meet everyone.
And deciding if you're going to get married too.
Right. Because a lot of them are talking about backing out like every season.
Yeah, they're like, I want to go home.
Like, I don't like it here, or I want to go home. But yeah, I feel like what's the channel that hosts 90 Day Fiancé? What's that channel
TLC.
called? TLC.
The
That's
Learning
what I'm thinking
Channel.
of. The Learning Channel loves to just show up when they know that there's going to be human conflict, whether it's like the 90 Day Fiancé stuff, because they know like, okay, people are going to have to rush into marriage. There's probably going to be drama, and they're right. Because they barely know each other. And we know this because we're kind of long distance for a while and just talked online.
Before we were long distance, we actually knew each other
That's
for
true.
a year and a half. So it's not like, it's different.
Yeah, I think it was a lot easier for us because we knew each other. We weren't meeting each other online, and that's usually not the situation with the people on that show. And for them, I think it's a perfect symbol that I think a lot of couples don't think about, is that your online perception or your online relationship with someone can be completely changed or completely different as soon as you meet them in person.
Right.
And I think to a lot of extents, we faced a lot of those challenges when you first moved back, because we knew each other before you moved away, but we weren't. Yeah, we weren't dating. We were still friends. And then when you moved away, we started dating. And when you moved back, it was a very different situation. Do you remember that at all?
Well, yeah, I remember you were in the friend zone pretty bad, like before I left.
Mm-hmm.
But you really have that effect on people. Like, you're very memorable. And as soon as I left, I was like, I made a great mistake. And I
Yeah.
just kept thinking about you. And I was like, why is this happening?
Mm.
But I don't know. You're stuck on me.
It's probably because I kept calling her 8 times a day. No,
You've
that
been
was
texting me 100 times.
no. I was completely ready to just let go. As soon as we left that first time, when you said you were moving to Australia, I was like, okay, this is it. I'm gonna say goodbye.
Sayonara.
Never gonna see her again. And you were more optimistic for the most part. You weren't thinking that way. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, I'll come back here and there, whatever.
Yeah. I feel
But-
like we're in charge of our fate.
Mm.
So I needed to go there to see what opportunities are there and just for the experience of it. And I'm really glad I did.
Yeah, I'm glad you did too.
Because now I'm not like regretting not going. You know?
Sure. And you'll be back. We'll be back at some point.
We'll be back.
We'll be back at some point. Anyway, but with 90 Day Fiance, there's so many couples that drive me absolutely insane. Mostly
Well, tell me
because
which
of
one.
Okay, so we're watching season 5 right now, which is the last one available on Hulu, in case you're curious. And there's this one couple, I think it's a girl who lives in America who's 18 years old, and her fiance is from Spain, and he's like 27. There's usually a pretty big age difference on that show.
It's rare that they're like the same age.
It happens occasionally, but for the most part, it's like pretty big age jumps there. But this couple finds a way to be angry at each other on every single topic. That's what kills me. Is like any tiny thing you can imagine. Like even they'll talk to the interviewer when the show's going on about how they feel.
Yeah, they're super passive aggressive towards each other.
And they find a way to make it mean to each other, which kills me. You know what couple I'm talking about. Do you despise them as much as I do, or do you kind of get it?
I think they're at least the girl is very young and naive. Like, she's focusing more on like wedding details than actually making the relationship work.
Mm-hmm.
So that part bothers me. I definitely don't think they know each other well enough to get married. But honestly, like, people get married after knowing each other for 2 weeks. So
Yeah, exactly.
I guess you have to make the mistake to learn. So, and it makes for good TV.
It does make for good TV, that's for sure. Sometimes I wonder if it's fake. Do you think they stage any of these couples?
Ooh,
Would they do that?
maybe. I'm sure it's been done before.
Okay. So I got to keep that as a possibility. But with this couple in particular, I'm sorry I can't remember their names.
Oh, I remember the names.
What are they?
So the 18-year-old and the 27-year-old, that was Evelyn and David.
Oh, you have such a good memory.
We were just watching it today.
I know, but I hate them so much. I don't like. I'm not
usually-
focused on their names.
You would know them if you hated them.
Right. It's that bad, but to me, like, let me try to think of an example. It was something like, pretty much in any situation, the guy David, is like, I think that all of my family who's gonna make the wedding from Spain, they're from really far away, so I think we should pay for some of their expenses.
Yeah.
You know, like the
A
hotels.
sort of compromise.
There's a compromise, and she's kind of like, no, we don't have to pay for anything.
Right.
We don't
it's
have to
my
cover that.
wedding. I want everyone to be in matching tuxes.
Right. That's what she keeps saying is, it's my
Yeah.
wedding.
It's like, it's both of your guys' wedding.
I kept screaming that at the TV. It's your wedding. It's
And
our
I
wedding.
was telling Drew, honey, they can't hear you.
This was filmed a while ago, Drew. But at the same time, I'm like, come on, like, why can't they communicate with each other how they talk to the interview? That's what always kills me, is that they make sense when they're talking to the camera in an interview, but then once they get to the other person, they're just jerks.
Right.
In one, she was like, so I know that I've been kind of controlling and I've been in charge of a lot of the wedding, but the cake is something I don't really care that much about. So we're going to go try wedding cakes today, and I'm going to let him take the lead.
Yeah.
So that's what she says to the interviewer. That's what she says on camera. So it's like, okay, she's going to try to make things a bit more calm. She's going to try to give him a bit more control. And then we cut to her in the situation at the wedding cake, or the bakery or whatever, where they're going to try the wedding cakes. And she's like, so I know you want to be in more control of the wedding, so I'm going to let you take the hand. Like, she makes it completely backhanded. And I'm like,
They just
Come on.
They don't know how to show empathy to each other.
They argue about everything.
Well, that's a red flag.
Mm-hmm.
Also, someone said, can I just read some of these things?
Sure,
They're
let's
so
check
funny.
in with the chat here.
So
and there.
real content said, how do you get a girl? I'm desperate. Please. I'm going to die alone. Please. I need advice. I'm begging.
Do you have advice for him?
Definitely don't do what they do and just go overseas and try to find some desperate woman who
Would you
wants
say,
to come to America.
Ooh, here's a tough question. There might not be an easy answer to this.
Someone said, did you notice that Evelyn's dad looked like Jesus? Drew said that.
Yes. Yes. Evelyn's dad looks 18.
Yeah. He looks like her brother.
He's supposed to be 40.
Weird.
But yeah, he looks exactly like Jesus. It's so bizarre. I was making a lot of jokes about that. Like, it was like, what do you think? The interviewer was like, what do you think of David? Like, do you like him? And I was like, the dad's probably thinking, oh, I love David when I made him because I'm Jesus and I crafted him from the sands of the earth. He's like, I love King David. And at the same time, like they go for a walk later and he starts like walking across the pool.
Yeah.
He grabs a water bottle and opens it and then turns it into wine. Man,
Drew's really fun to watch TV with because he adds commentary to it that just like makes it 10 times better.
Well, here's a tough question. I know that Real Content just announced that he was kidding. He's not that desperate.
Okay, good. I was worried about you.
Here's a question. Do you think it's inherently better or worse depending on looking for someone in your social circles for a relationship or looking online on like a dating app or something? Do you think you can find someone closer with the widespreadness of the internet, or do you think it's better to find someone in your personal life that you're like already interacting with?
What do you mean closer? Like closer in distance or closer in personality? Like how well you get along with each other?
Well, I just figured like on dating profiles and stuff, you can automatically see what similar interests you have. You know, like it's more widespread with a dating app because you can be like, I'm into someone who's with this and this and this, but the compromise is you don't know where in the world you'll be matched with. Whereas in person dating, which is how kind of we started. We met each other in person, so I wouldn't consider. We didn't meet on a dating app.
Yeah, but we didn't have any like mutual friends either. Like it just kind of happened by a fluke.
Sure. So we were able to like interact with each other on a daily basis and kind of meet up, opposed to a long distance relationship online, which is much more difficult.
Right.
So do you think one is better than the other, or they're just kind of the same? You can have, I mean, obviously there's a certain amount of success or failure you can have in both, but in regards to, do you think one's better than the other in any way?
That's a very tough question. I'd say online dating is probably a little bit tougher to find like a genuine person.
Yeah.
It's very, at least like from what I've heard, online dating like Tinder and stuff like that, it's very shallow. You're not actually trying to get to know someone. So I guess it really depends on your intention, like what you're looking for. If you're looking for a serious relationship,
Okay.
like I would try first by maybe joining clubs. So you get to meet people who have similar interests as you.
Now, when you say clubs, you don't mean like party dance clubs, or do you just mean like social circles?
If you're into running, like join a running club. Also, like, I guess it's a lot easier if you're younger and are going to college. Like college is a great place to meet people, meet potential, wives and husbands.
Sure.
Not multiple, obviously, just one.
Yeah, potential though. There's lots of potential. We got a super chat from Jesus.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jesus. Drew went from friend zone to end zone. You are a god, I say.
No, he is not. Do not idolize him.
No, I'm very flawed, as we know. But I just like seeing Jesus as super chatted, just as we were just talking about you. Thanks for tuning in. But yeah, I think the reason I find so much enjoyment out of that show is sort of what TLC specializes in, which is people who don't have their lives together.
Well, you mean all people? Like, there's no person that actually has their lives together.
No, but some people have their lives more together than others. You could admit that, right? Like some people are a complete mess, and other people are. We're all struggling in some way, but other people are more put together. And I just think that a lot of the people on TLC just make you go, "Oh my God, what are they thinking?" Like I think on season 4 we had that one couple that didn't tell her parents that she was engaged for like 80 days or something.
Yeah. she waited till the last week, and she's like, by the way, this is my fiance, and we're getting married next Thursday.
Oh.
And he's like, this Thursday? Or
Yeah.
Dad said this Thursday? It would be much better if it was next Thursday.
Right. That was the joke I made.
Yeah.
He was like, this Thursday? It was like, what is it better if it's next Thursday? Because I thought the dad's reasoning was like, I got something going on Thursday.
Yeah.
But next Thursday I could do. But just to kind of drop that bomb on your family like that, did you get any like sympathy stress watching that? Was that bothering you?
Definitely.
Mm.
Yeah, the one where she hid the engagement, that one, I just can't imagine. Like, I guess I've heard of like tiger moms.
What's a tiger mom exactly?
So it's when a parent puts a lot of like expectations on their child, so then the child like always falls below their expectation and has really low self-esteem and thinks they can never do something right. And I kind of got the vibe from her that like she felt like she could never like reach her parents' expectations, so it's better to just hide that, you know, she was engaged rather than just coming out with the truth and not letting it boil over.
The definition of procrastination.
Oh, I know.
She just kept pushing it off. She started looking at wedding dresses before her family even knew about the whole thing.
Yeah, they had been engaged for a whole year before their family knew about it.
Okay, we got another super chat here, which I feel obligated to answer because they're donating, which we appreciate. Thank you, Brad G.
Thank you.
Who asks, was Louise an apple sheep before you met? That's a you question, honey.
Is it a me question?
Yeah.
No, I was not an apple sheep, and I'm still
She's really not now.
not really an apple sheep now. Even though I have pretty much all Apple stuff. So I don't know what defines an apple sheep, like someone who's just super into Apple.
I suppose that. I mean, you weren't, when we met, using an iPhone.
No.
But you weren't using the latest Galaxy either. You were kind of...
I don't even remember what phone I had, honestly.
Didn't you have a flip phone and like an Android tablet that you texted me on via Twitter? Does that sound right?
Probably. That sounds right. Wow.
Okay.
4 years ago.
I remember the day you got an iPhone.
Yeah,
that was while we were in college.
Yeah,
we weren't dating
September
yet.
of 2015. I bought an iPhone 4 from one of my friends for $30, and I thought
$30? That's a good deal.
I thought I was so cool. I was like, if I have an iPhone, except it was like 2 years behind.
It was an iPhone 4 in 2016, or was this 2015?
2015.
Wow.
It was the year we met.
So it was still fairly old, but it was like operational to a certain extent.
Yeah, I mean, I actually don't think it was like on a plan. I was just using it on Wi-Fi.
Yeah, you never had a carrier plan for a long time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, she uses a lot of the stuff that I had at one point, and then I think because you want to be so supportive of me, you often end up buying a lot of my old tech, which I appreciate. But
he likes to recycle.
It's kind of like apples don't fall too far from the tree. So when I buy a bunch of apple sheep stuff, obviously some of it's gonna come down to Louise's end of the market, like the iPhone 8 Plus you're using right now.
I think you're using that phrase wrong. Because I think
I was trying to make a carryover reference.
No, I like it. You can use it like as a pun.
Get it, Apple?
The apple doesn't fall too far.
Too far.
Yes, I appreciate you selling me your old tech.
I usually give it at a discount, but then the audience freaks out because they're like, you should just give it away, but you don't want me to give it away.
No. Well, now that our finances are shared, it doesn't really matter.
Right.
That's kind of weird. Let me pay you with your own money.
Which was kind of funny because you were buying my my 2017 iPad Pro like 3 months before we got married.
Yeah, I should have just waited, guys.
So you were like, here, I'll just pay for it up front. And it's like going to be your money anyway. So at the end of the day, we both have, it's our iPad.
System.
She cheated the system. Don't ever give it away. Sometimes you can give stuff away. It's not a strict rule that everything has to cost something, but
yeah.
Dawson has an interesting question. He
Shane
says,
Dawson?
Yeah, Shane Dawson's in the chat. He loves Tayloso Talks, actually. He said, Louise, curious, where do you buy your clothes from generally? I like your style. I like her style too. She looks great.
Let's see. This cardigan thing was from Drew's mom. She gave it to me for Christmas a couple years ago.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
She gave me and Emily matching sets.
Oh,
remember?
okay.
And then this shirt I got from a thrift shop for $3.
She's very thrifty.
And then the pants, thrift shop for $5.
Mm.
And someone said you should sell it to me at 2 times the pricing. Well, thank you. Sub. Hey, I thought you were on my side.
With interest.
With interest.
This phone belonged to Taylosive.
So it's worth a lot.
More valuable. I thought about that for a second, but I realized John Morrison sells his tech at like insanely discounted prices. So I was like, it would be stupid to admit like, hey, you should buy my old computer because it's Taylosive owned.
Right. So yeah, with the clothing thing, I'm very thrifty, frugal. That's why Drew keeps me around. I keep his finances in check.
Thank you.
Also, one of my not Valentine's Day, New Year's resolutions this year was to not go shopping. So
that's a tough one.
Yeah, other than the thrift shop challenge we did on the Erickson channel, I haven't bought anything on Amazon or anywhere.
People love, so far at least, people are really loving the Erickson's channel, by the way. I know you're monitoring the Creator Studio app and you're getting the comments and you're watching the views. And I don't think that many people know this over on Talks, but you kind of noticed too very quickly, and I was kind of jealous because it usually takes YouTubers a few months or years to kind of hit an algorithm suggestion. And our haircut video kind of picked up a little steam from people who hadn't even heard of Taylosive. Do you recall any of that, or how did that go?
Yeah, I remember. I just looked on the Studio app and I was looking up like the different ways that people found my videos.
Yeah.
And it said like 50% were from like other videos like about haircutting or like people looking up haircutting videos.
Right.
So yeah, I think that video has like 4,000 views on it, which is not bad considering like it's a pretty small channel.
Yeah, it's not even 1,000 subs yet, right?
Nope.
So 4,000 views is really good. And like we said, we checked the audience discovery on that, and it was not all coming from Talks. It was just genuine people who were just browsing YouTube who found the channel. Yeah. And I was like, that took me years to figure out how to do that, just to make in order to get kind of an audience growing, you kind of have to hope that the algorithm or the recommended features kind of pick up your video and relate it to someone else's. So like the way Taylosive started getting views, obviously, was I started making tech videos, and because they were somewhat related to other people's tech videos, they would get recommended. So that's why a lot of the time what variates a video's success is how quick you are to a subject. So when the very, very first iPhone smart battery case came out, I did a video on that like very early, and it started getting picked up, and that's when the audience started.
Yeah, strike it while it's hot.
Exactly, strike it while it's hot, and that took me 4 years of making YouTube videos to do, and then you did it on like your second video.
I think what happened was I posted it like the day after New Year's, and a lot of people, do like something different with themselves after the New Year. So probably a bunch of people were looking up like, I don't know, should I cut my hair or not?
Well, that was fun. I really thought it was going to go a lot worse than it did, because I am not good at giving haircuts because I've never given a haircut before. Yeah.
But I think you did pretty well, if you guys can see.
Thank you. A lot of people complimented you on it too in our social lives.
Yeah.
That was fun.
I haven't had short hair in probably 8 years. So it's a nice change, and my hair was very damaged. If you watch that video, it looks like hay. Not the good kind of hay that feeds horses.
Oh, hay, like, yeah.
Yeah.
Except not the good kind. Okay. So in regards to editing, I've complimented you about this on other channels, but I wanted to take time to compliment you on it in person, because I just want you to know that, like, even on my other channels now, people are starting to ask me, like, when's the next Erickson's video going to be up? Or they're like anticipating it. And just in a couple short videos, you've already kind of gained this audience that's like, I want to see, the Louise perspective. And the way you're able to edit videos is, I teach you a lot of things. I teach you like what buttons to press. This is how you cut. This is how you add music. But what I didn't teach you was like timing. and how to pace videos.
Mm-hmm.
You just kind of picked up on that, and it's amazing on the fact that you're just able to know, like, okay, this is boring. I need to cut that out. Okay, I want to get to the point, or you'll be in the middle of editing a video and be like, this isn't interesting.
Yeah.
And you'll be like, I need to fix this.
It's slightly
That's
discouraging.
incredibly difficult to teach someone.
Mm-hmm.
As someone who's worked with many editors in the past and being an editor myself, and I'm not just talking about Taylosive, I'm talking about before that, talking with Dave and Ross in the early days before Taylosive existed.
Right.
That is difficult stuff to teach, and I'm just incredibly amazed that you pick up on that.
Well,
it's
thank
great.
you, hon. That really warms my heart.
She's a natural.
Actually, I mean, you speak very highly of me, but I don't think I'm quite to where you're saying I am. You have a lot of faith in me, which I appreciate.
I do.
But
I think that's good and healthy.
I don't have, like, I don't know, the efficiency down. So I'm very like self-critical, and it takes me, I don't know, 5 hours to do a 7-minute video. That's kind of ridiculous because I'm like cutting out every single space or like silence. So actually this next video that I just finished editing today is like 16 minutes long because I was like, I'm not going to cut out every single space of silence. I don't know. I'm done.
Well, the thing is, you're doing it on the side, you know. It's not your full-time job,
Oh, yeah,
and you're still
I'm
very early on it, and that's why I'm looking at it with context. You know, I'm not comparing you to like how fast I edit, because I've been editing for years and years and years, and this is my full-time job. So me editing 3 to 4 vlogs a week, that's normal. And the fact that on your day off, you're taking time to work and put in energy into stuff, that's like the amount of content that you've completed. Just in the amount of spare time you have is insane. And I think that's really inspirational to
thank
people.
You.
You're welcome.
Done 1 video a week, well, for the first month, and then I kind of took 2 weeks off because I got sick and because I'm lazy. And also my mind was just dry of ideas.
Yeah, so. I get there sometimes, but I don't know. I'm hoping that we can find a little niche here with the podcast, because we don't have to. What I love about the idea of the live stream is that it's edited, it's uploaded, and it's recorded all at the same time. So that supposedly is able to save us for a lot more time. That save us so we don't have to spend so much time, you know, filming, editing, uploading. It takes, it's a lot. It's a big process, but
I really admire you, honestly, like what you've built and what you've just learned over the years and taught yourself. Like,
thank you.
You're amazing.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah, I know some people are like, there should be another channel just for podcasts, but the process of monetizing a channel is so lengthy now that it's really, really difficult to just go from, you know, putting a podcast or putting a live show on a channel and then immediately putting it on a whole new, brand new channel, because now you have to wait till that channel reaches 1,000, and then that's not even that difficult in the grand scheme of Taylosive. We can instantly, you know, we have almost 2,000 subscribed to Food, which is a joke channel. But getting, what is it, the 4,000 hours? That's
240,000 minutes watched.
That's not easy.
No, I have 4 videos up, and I'm at 15,000 right now, which is not that good considering that took me a month.
No, it's a start, hon. There's people that'll work for years that won't get that.
Yeah, that's true.
I know, because that was me. So I'm just hoping that it can be manageable for you, and I love seeing that commitment, because I've met a lot of people that want to start a channel or want to birth a new content or new career out of their YouTube, and they'll make 1, they'll make 2, and then they get tired, and then life happens. But you, like, despite how hard she works, like, you work hours and hours a week. You're working like 5 days a week, and you start at like 4 a.m. I know this because we live together. And
so like, he's kind of being tortured.
No, I'm not being tortured. I like starting the day early. It's genuinely much better than what I've had in the past. But the fact that you work so hard, because even when I was working and doing YouTube part-time, I did not work as hard as you were. Like, my work on the Mandarin Ranch was not that long. I didn't start at 4 a.m. I didn't work till 3:30 in the afternoon. And the fact that you do all that work and then still are like, okay, it's my day off, but I need to get this done. And that's what I admire about you, and I love about being married to you, is that you're just so focused and driven, even if it's something that's not necessarily making money, which is where a lot of my background came from. So
Yeah.
I'm just impressed overall.
Well, thank you.
Mhm.
And you've definitely encouraged me a lot and helped me, learn everything. And it doesn't hurt to have a YouTuber husband to help you with this kind of stuff. So
For sure.
I'm just taking it as it goes, and I'm not too focused on like making money off of it. I'm just trying to, find my groove and enjoy it while I'm doing it.
Yeah. And I wish us the best, the both of us. So we had some other topics we wanted to discuss, but
Yeah.
I wanted to interject a little bit here because you were talking about being married to a YouTuber.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to know what are the perks / cons? What are the
Okay.
good things? What are the bad things about that?
Oh, goodness. Okay.
You can be open. I don't mind criticism.
I think it really depends on who that YouTuber is, because you are not a typical YouTuber. Definitely not. Like, you have such an amazing personality outside of your work. Like, the YouTubers I've seen are very narcissistic, self-involved, other bad words.
I don't know
But
anyone like that. That's
Drew
weird.
is very selfless and loving and gorgeous. And I don't know, we're just great at like doing this marriage thing. Like, it's been, I'm not going to say it's easy, but it's definitely worth it. And YouTube hasn't really been like a huge part in our marriage. Like, it hasn't, overtaken it. Yeah.
That's good. Well, I worry about being a YouTuber and how that may feel controlling to you, because some of the times that I feel really bad, I think it was just yesterday, is when being a YouTuber, it's very kind of difficult to have days off, which is tricky. Because yesterday I was like at work trying to get things done, and we had a lot of family stuff going on earlier in the day. So I wasn't able to work in the early morning like I normally was able to. And you were like, why don't you work till around 6 p.m. and then come home? And I was like, okay. And then
you biked last night.
Oh, sorry. I'm thinking 2 nights ago. Sorry. 2 nights ago, it was like, you texted me, I think at 4, and you were like, oh, I miss you, or I want you to come home.
Oh.
And I felt bad about that, because I was like,
I didn't say I want you to come home.
Or sorry, how did you phrase it?
Here, I'll look up the text.
Okay, we'll bring out the text to be sure. Let me see what the chat's doing.
But
we got some mods because some people were being
I think I
inappropriate.
was making you feel bad, though, by what I was saying.
Oh, you weren't like...
So I said, I can't believe how much I miss you already. And then the like whining face, like, and then a heart. And then...
That makes me miss you.
Yeah, and I was like, P.S. I love you. And then you said, I'll do this video and come home. And I was like, no, it's okay. I just wanted to tell you how much I miss you. Like, I don't know.
Well, you made me miss you too, because it's not that I feel like obligated to.
Really?
It's because, no, I don't at all. It's like I ultimately want to be home with you, but I also have all these YouTube obligations. And at the same time, that's my worry as
finding
a
the
husband.
Balance. Right.
Yeah, as a husband, finding that balance, because quite literally with this YouTube Taylosive Network job, there's like no limit to how much I can work. If I wanted to work 20 hours, I probably could, because there's podcasts to manage, there's live streams to do, and there's people who are like, there's not enough of this content, and there's not enough of this content. So it's really difficult to draw that line, especially because I love you so much, and I want to make sure you get the time you deserve, and you don't feel like I'm distant, because I want to avoid that if at all possible. So I don't know.
It's crazy, because you already work around 12 hours a day, like from 4 a.m. to 4 p.m. And then usually that's when you come home so we can spend time together. But I forgot where I was going. I'm just saying, like, you're really good at, managing your time and
thank you.
Making me feel like I'm important, even though you have all these other obligations. And sometimes I feel bad. It's like, there's all these people that want your attention, and you're giving your attention to me, and I feel like I don't deserve it, honestly.
You do deserve it. That's why we're married.
It's hard to feel that way.
Well, I try to find that balance well, but I honestly sometimes think back about my bachelor days when I wasn't married and I lived the way I wanted to, and I wasn't really not that I'm not living the way I wanted to. I just mean that...
you had free will.
I wasn't... How do I say it? I wasn't responsible, or I wasn't living with someone, basically. I was by myself. And
well, you had 2 roommates, but it's not quite the same.
Yeah.
You're not married to them.
No. It's like your
weird.
roommates can do whatever you want, and That's in the past, obviously. But the difference is now I have deadlines, and in the past I didn't. In the past, it was kind of like, at some point today, I need to get this done. And because I didn't care if I stayed up till 4 a.m, or I didn't care if I slept in till 1 p.m.,
Mm-hmm.
the just stuff just kind of got done. Like if you guys have been tuning in ever since 2018, then like videos got done basically when I got around to it.
Mm-hmm.
But now, like, because of deadlines, because of the fact that I have times to get home by, and we set schedules
Mm-hmm.
for ourselves, because I try to mimic your schedule
Yeah.
best I can, that deadline allows me to know when to work harder and when I have to get things done by. And while it may feel a bit more packed than before, now I think so much more gets done than ever before, because
Yeah.
I have those deadlines to work with. And it's not just like, oh, I'll get to that, or I'll get
Mm-hmm.
around to it. It's like, no, you got to get this done. That's going to take you this long. That project's going to take this long. So
Yeah, you really have to be more diligent, I'd say, in the time that you are allotted.
right.
And I was actually really worried, like, before we were married
Mm-hmm.
about your sleeping schedule, considering, like, I was the opposite.
That was a big concern
You
of
would
yours.
stay up till, like, 4 a.m., and that's when I was waking up. Like,
It felt very backwards, didn't it?
and I was thinking, like, when we're married, how's this going to work? Like, I'm never going to see you. But no, he transitioned into it really well, and now we're on the same schedule. It's really nice.
Mm-hmm.
I get to see him about 3 hours a day before we go to bed.
Well, that's why I want you to be on the podcast more, and we
Yeah.
can work and hang out simultaneously
Cool.
and chat. And then by the time we're done, by the time we go home, we're not going to want to talk anymore. It's
Yeah.
talked all night.
Yeah.
Except we could talk about all the things we can't say on the live stream.
Yeah. We have lots of deep conversations that are just for us guys. So.
Yeah, for sure. Like spicy popcorn.
Ooh.
Isn't that a segue?
Tell
We
us
wrote
about
that down. So, okay. Well, no, hang on. I have
Yes.
questions about this. So we've
Okay.
been eating popcorn. Do you guys remember the Warm Ones skit that me and Wyatt did? Well, the last bottle of sauce on that Saturday short is, what's it called?
Valentina's.
Valentina's.
You took the hot sauce. That's why it ran out.
I didn't use any of it.
Okay. We just actually ate all of it.
It was a prop. Yeah,
Okay.
it was just I needed bottles. One of them was like, I think antibiotics. One of them was like butter. One of them was just pepper. I grabbed a bunch of stuff from the home and
Okay.
used it as
Cool.
a
You put everything back.
I did.
Good.
You haven't noticed, haven't you? This was weeks
No.
ago. But so more recently we used that hot sauce on our popcorn.
Mm-hmm.
Which what do you cook it in? It's not microwaved.
Yeah, it's called a whirly pop. It's basically
pop.
a big pot with a spinning contraption inside and a handle
Mm-hmm.
that spins as well. So
Right.
you put raw kernels in there and some oil, and it just pops it for you.
It is really good.
Yeah,
It's
it tastes
delicious.
fresh. It tastes way better than
Mhm.
microwave popcorn, I say.
Right. And I have never really been a fan of spicy things growing up. I've never loved spicy food in any way, and sometimes I would outright hate it. But ever since you started putting that spicy stuff on I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of it. Valentina's.
Yeah.
Valentina's
and then we
on
also
the
have
popcorn.
tahine. So we
Oh,
have
there's-
two kinds of spices.
There's
we have,
two.
Yeah,
Okay.
we have the dry like seasoning,
Mhm.
which is like spicy lemon or lime
Okay.
flavor, and the other one's Valentina, which is just a generic hot sauce, and it's bomb, and it costs 99 cents.
That was 99 cents?
Yep.
Oh my
But
God.
It was only 99 cents.
That's great. Did someone teach you that, or was that something you just wanted to try? Like, have you had spicy popcorn in the past before
Yes.
you started making it? Okay.
Yes. So one of my best friends, Indy,
Mm-hmm.
I used to go to her house. She actually, can I mention the campfire? I mean,
Yeah, it happened.
well, now I've already talked about it.
Yeah, it
She
happened.
used to live in Paradise.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I shouldn't say it.
No, it's
Well,
okay.
it's too
It's
late.
right. It
She
exists.
used to live in Paradise, and it's sad because that house burnt down. But
Yeah.
basically, like, we would, have sleepovers, and she'd always make this spicy popcorn with tahine and the Valentina hot sauce.
Oh, that sounds good.
And I just ate it every time I was over there. And then one time you came over there,
Yeah.
and and we had like a hot tub party.
That's right. Okay, I do
It
remember
was
that.
risque.
One of their friends, I forget his name. You don't have to say his name, but he was a Logan Paul fan. That's what I remember.
Can I say his name?
Sure.
Tony.
Tony, you Logan Paul viewer, how dare you?
Wait, he liked Logan Paul? Ooh, why
Well,
am I
I
friends
told
with him?
it was a weird segue. That was a good hot tub party. It was fun.
Yeah.
But I was like, we were hanging out and I was talking to Tony because you were talking with your friend. I didn't know Tony
Right.
at all. But he was like, so what do you do for a living? And I was like, oh, you know, YouTuber. I make YouTube videos.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, are you like Logan Paul? I watch a lot of his videos. And I was like,
This guy has about 2 brain cells.
I finally met one of them. Oh my God.
They exist.
They
He's like
exist.
a unicorn.
A Logan Paul fan?
No,
That's not
I mean,
9
he's
years
got
old?
like how many subscribers?
Oh, millions. I don't know.
Yeah, so it's
Too
not
many.
like they're exactly rare.
Yeah, I know they're not rare. I just never met one.
They're hidden.
You know, it's kind of like when I see a Tesla. I know a lot of people have Teslas, but
Mm-hmm.
when I see one, I'm still like, that's a Tesla.
Yeah.
I
We
know
had
what that is. We had a
what is
super
that
chat.
called? Yeah, super chat.
Marco Juarez.
Valiente.
Valiente is the best with popcorn. Also, hi. Wow.
LOL. I think you mean Valentina. Also, I don't even know how you say that. Melchizedek Robinson. Are you going to interact with us here? We get to ask a question.
A little bit. We still want this podcast to be somewhat entertaining for the people who aren't listening to it live or watching it live, because we are going to take the audio of this podcast and put it on iTunes and SoundCloud, so people can listen to it. So we're not going to do just completely live stream chat answering. It's not a Q&A.
Mm-hmm.
We'll interact with the chat here and there, so it's not like we're completely ignoring you. And when people super chat, we'll definitely comment, as long as it doesn't get excessive. Obviously, if you super chat $3 every minute and ask me a tech question every time, I'm not going to just answer every single one. But
Right.
yeah, we'll interact with the chat here and there.
Yeah.
So
Just to clarify, like I have nothing against Logan Paul viewers. Like, you know, you're still human.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some part of you that has feelings
oh,
still.
you're so nice, hon.
Thank you.
I don't think that at all.
Oh,
No, I'm kidding.
goodness.
I'm
This
kidding.
got real dark.
No, you're welcome to enjoy viewers who don't like each other. That's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But
We can
I
still respect each other, guys.
yes, we can respect each other, and you are human, and Louise has your back. But anyway, that spicy popcorn you'd made at sleepovers before,
Mm-hmm.
and oh my God, now that's my like preferred way of eating popcorn.
Yeah. I've
I don't like
converted
eating
you.
regular popcorn now.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you need to try it with just salt, because honestly, like that's really,
Really?
good too. Mm-hmm.
One time, I think I ruined that because I went to a movie once and I put too much salt on our popcorn or something, and it ruined it. I like couldn't eat it because it
Yeah.
was just too salty.
I know how that is.
But you know how too salty is.
Yeah.
We've had that problem.
Your attitude sometimes.
Right,
I'm just
exactly. My attitude. I knew people were going to ask this, so I thought I would address it.
Okay.
Vinny's asking why I'm using the keyboard and mouse with my iPad Pro right here, which, no, they are not paired. They are not working together.
Can you pair them though? Is that an option?
You can't. I can't connect. Let me clarify. You cannot connect the Magic Mouse with the iPad. You can connect the keyboard with the iPad if you wanted to type on the iPad Pro.
Is that
you could.
Bluetooth?
Yeah, it works via Bluetooth. But
Cool.
actually, the keyboard and mouse are paired to the Mac Mini, which is off camera, handling the live stream. So if you see me reach down here and interact with the keyboard, that's me switching angles to my angle, Louise's angle, which I call the pretty angle. And I'm monitoring the live stream on OBS with a TV that's off camera with the keyboard and mouse. So these are not paired. I'm reading the chat on the iPad, and I have our notes here that we want to do talk about.
Over.
So yeah, that's the situation there. But do you prefer any? Do you think the Valentina's is like your limit when it comes to hot sauce, or would you go hotter than that?
No, I could probably go hotter than that. Honestly.
Have you?
I don't recall. I mean, I've eaten jalapeno peppers before. If that
Those
counts.
get hot, yeah.
Yeah,
For sure.
I like making jalapeno poppers. And at
I
first,
eat
like,
those a lot, yeah.
yeah, the first time I made it, you said it was too spicy.
Something was wrong with the first batch.
Yeah,
I'm so no, like it wasn't my immunity that changed, but the first time we had
it
jalapeno
was
poppers,
extra
I was
spicy.
like, I was dying. I
Yeah.
couldn't eat them, and then the second time it was great. I loved it.
It was probably the temperature that I cooked it at, because I baked.
Does that
them.
affect the spiciness of
I
it?
feel like it like breaks down the spice better if you do it at a higher heat, maybe.
Really? Okay, I didn't know that. it's weird because there's two different types of hot we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
The spiciness and then the actual temperature.
Right.
So me
I'm
trying to
talking
figure
about
out which is
temperature.
which. Yeah. Because that first batch killed me. I tried to eat one and I was dying.
I know. I felt so bad. Seemed like your family enjoyed it though.
They did.
Yeah.
So I just, they could handle it.
Someone said put it on Taylor's of Food. I feel like we should start doing stuff on Taylor's of Food, like not necessarily.
The chat's gonna freak out now.
Not necessarily like satirical or, I mean, it could be funny,
Mm-hmm.
but if we did like actual cooking,
Yeah.
or popcorn making.
Popcorn making, the best types of popcorn to eat. I'll still occasionally microwave popcorn here at the office, but it's not the same. It's just it's not as spicy.
Yeah.
But I still honestly think that I don't know, like this makes me want to know, like, would you ever go on Hot Ones and eat those like ultras?
No, definitely not.
You wouldn't try at all?
No, I mean I could probably do the first 3, but after that, I'm done. Like my mouth's gonna be on fire.
I always think it would be funny because I've been watching Hot Ones for a while and I've wanted to make a parody for a long time. That's why I was so excited to make that short, was because that was in my head for a long time. Like if I'm ever watching a movie and I'm not enjoying it, my immediate go-to is just put Wyatt in there as the main character. It just put Wyatt in and now it's hilarious. So that was my Hot Ones approach. I would just make Wyatt the main guest and it's hilarious. But originally, if I was ever on Hot Ones, I thought the best thing to do is to like absolutely panic and freak out after the first bite. Like the very first bite of chicken.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh, okay,
It's
this
not
is
very spicy, but
this is the base level one. Okay. And then you take a bite of it and you're just like
I know. It's already too much. Just
you
like over
chug all the
exaggerate
milk.
everything.
You drink all the
When
milk
I
immediately.
watched the Gordon Ramsay one, like I was super impressed by how prepared he was.
Really?
He literally brought donuts with him because he said
Does that help?
The sweetness cuts the heat. Which, I mean, he's a professional chef. He would know, if anyone would know.
It doesn't cut the heat. That's a lie. I don't care.
Have you
how
ever
much.
had a donut after eating a
Well, I just know that you're really sweet and it doesn't make you less hot.
Stop.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I'll cut it off. Wyatt has 2 emojis on the Discord. Clearly the best choice. Exactly. That's a good point. But he brought like those. Did you see those drink things he brought with him? He brought like
it was like a juice.
lemon juice or something, or salt water.
Oh yeah. It was
He shot them on there. It was insane.
lemon juice and like lime juice.
Mm.
He just chugged them.
He put them like on the chicken on the
Right.
last bite, and he cursed a lot. It was great. I loved it. I mean, we're family friendly, but I kind of like it when they're not. It's hilarious.
It's funny when he does it because that's like his shtick. He's mean.
He is very mean. He even like in the first bite of chicken, he was like, "How long were these cooked for?" And Sean was like, "Oh," and then Gordon Ramsay was like, "No, I'm serious. Like, how long? These taste like sand. You know, this is a problem."
They've probably been sitting out there for 20 minutes. He's
Right.
used to, fresh, hot and fresh.
I don't understand people like Gordon Ramsay.
Hey, Daniel. Holloway.
Oh, Holloway. No, Holloway. He's been a long time viewer. He's been watching for a long, long time. Such a great couple. Thank you very much.
Someone said Talks Podcast Flirting Edition. Sorry guys, I'm trying to keep this PG, but Drew's out of control.
But I can't flirt with my wife. That's the whole reason I got married.
You can flirt outside of this room.
I'm sorry, I can't help it.
It's okay.
You're
And
just
then
so easy to compliment.
Bob says hi from the Philippines. Hi, Bob.
We
Our
might go to the
next-
Philippines this year.
Maybe.
We're talking about it.
Our next Erickson video is a mukbang for Jollibee. So you should be familiar with that.
Jollibee was good. I've never had it before, but does that count as a mukbang? Because I have different definition of mukbang.
Mukbang translates to food show, as far as I know.
Oh, it does?
Yeah.
Okay. See, to me, I thought mukbang was like you eat it as fast as you can.
No.
And you hold it up real close to the camera. Is that not it?
I don't think so. I don't know where you heard that.
Maybe the chat could help
like,
me.
the hot ones could be a mukbang, technically. It's a food
Really?
show.
Okay. That had a different
In my
definition,
opinion.
I guess.
I mean, someone on the internet will tell me I'm wrong, but
yeah. Well, rated R Taylor Swift.
Oh, no.
What would that even be?
Hot I got barbecue sauce on my
She's referencing Vines.
Yeah.
But
Rip.
in regards to what phones people are using, because this isn't a tech podcast, but we're allowed to talk about tech because we know that's a lot of people's background, and a lot of people are talking about it now in the chat. I let you use the 10R for a while, and you kind of weren't loving it. You kind of wanted to go back to the 8 Plus. Is there a reason, like, and I've offered to let you try the 10S Max because I'm using the 10R right now. Is there a reason you're like content with the 8 Plus, or is there something about the new phones that you're not in love with? Or
well, with the 10R, I don't know, it just didn't look appealing to me.
No, you didn't like the
plastic,
blue,
and I didn't really like the blue, the color. Okay. Overall, though, like the experience of using it was fine. I like Face ID.
Okay.
And I definitely like iOS over, the Android. Android?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm just trying to be more content in myself and not like focus too much on what's new and what's poppin'. Like, I just want to be fine with what I'm using until it completely falls apart.
That's your objective. But you're always going to get my old thing. So it's probably never going to fall apart.
Hopefully not. That'd be bad.
So do you think you'd keep using your 8 Plus even when the 2019 iPhones come out?
Like, would I buy the 2019 iPhones?
I don't think you're ever going to buy an iPhone from Apple again, mostly because
I would never buy anything new, honestly.
What about a Tesla?
Let's buy it used as well.
You're going to buy a used Tesla?
Yeah.
Why?
I mean, hey, 50,000 miles, that's not going to kill us. And it'd cut like 20 grand off the price.
Would you
Come on, guys, think smart.
Yeah. Would you get a used Model 3?
Well, those are fairly new, so I don't know who would be selling them like as soon as they buy them.
They just instantly regretted it. Like, uh-oh. And then they can't make the return window or something like that. I don't know.
I'm not against buying a used Tesla.
When
we can afford one, obviously.
Yeah. Well, we're prioritizing. Well, Louise is sick of me probably because of how much I bring up Teslas, probably 5 times a day.
I'm not sick of you.
I'm always like comparing our finances to like, well, look, we could buy a Tesla and still have this much. That's usually, but I'm glad I'm married to you because you have the saner mind that's able to see like, well, a house is a better investment, and it really is. I don't disagree with that, but
Teslas are more fun than houses, I guess.
That's true.
We could just live in the Tesla. Honestly.
Exactly. That would fix it. But honestly, like the Tesla, as cool as it would be, it's still something that you just drive in, once you get to work or once you're there. It's not, it doesn't matter. It's out in a parking lot. And
right. And considering like, I'm not going to say it.
What?
Locations.
Oh, yeah. Sure. That matters. Yeah. But, sorry. I know these mics are kind of sensitive, but
yeah, they said I was too far away.
It's not that you're necessarily too far away. It's just that I'm a very powerful voice, and I'm always pretty close to the mic. So when someone else isn't, it makes them sound really quiet.
I will try to speak louder.
It's all right, hon. You're good. Thank you, though. A car is only good if it has 50 headphone jacks. That's an interesting point, Tori.
I don't think I've ever plugged in a headphone jack in a car.
Ever?
Oh, an aux cord. That's a headphone.
Yeah, that's an aux. Yeah.
I've used the aux a couple times.
Okay. See, it's like we stopped using the aux to get everywhere because we now have automobiles, but now the aux is in the car. It's used to play music.
Right.
This is how times have changed.
From aux to aux.
From aux to aux again. Except now we're removing the aux, so. Alan would have to live in a Tesla if he bought it.
Honestly, we would too, because we would be homeless.
We wouldn't be homeless. We're renting. We'd still be good.
Are you sure?
Yeah, we don't own a house. We'd still have plenty left over, even if we bought a brand new Model 3. Not like enough to buy a house. I'm just saying I'm sorry, I hit the leg. We would still have like money coming in monthly. I'm not saying this is a good idea. I'm just saying it's plausible. It's just
Drew
not
loves
likely.
to dream.
I love to dream. I have a problem.
No, dreaming's not a problem. I just have like different dreams, I guess.
Well, our dreams align a lot, but the investing in a house, I really think a lot of people don't realize how smart that is at a young age.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize, like, I was talking to my dad about this yesterday. Buying a house is unlike purchasing anything else. Like, it's not like purchasing stocks or investing in a company, and it's not like buying a car or a product, because
those
buying
are all
an iPad,
depreciating value.
exactly. Buying an iPad, buying a computer, buying a car, even, those are going to depreciate over time. And a house is, for the most part, one thing that doesn't. And over time, it actually gets more valuable. And as of right now, it's pretty likely, in fact, that if you buy a house, if you live in it, that's the difference, is you're using it. You're buying this thing and you're getting use out of it because it's where you live. And at the same time, even if the market crashes, let's say the real estate market goes completely bonkers and you lose money on the house, you still have a place to live. You know, you can still use that thing forever because it's property and you can upgrade it. And unlike a stock where you buy into it and you hope it does well, a house is most likely going to do well, but you're also getting used to it. Like a stock, just purchasing it, it doesn't help you other than financially. But I just mean, like, you don't use a stock. It's not a functional purchase. So
I guess that's subjective. But I see what you're saying. A house is probably the greatest purchase that you'll make, like monetarily, like the most expensive thing you'll purchase in your lifetime.
Sure.
And so I'm thinking, like, if we start focusing on that now and, like, you know, start putting money away, eventually, like, our biggest expense right now is rent.
Yeah.
I mean, how nice would that be to not have rent payments?
Exactly. Yeah. No, that would be really nice. But even if this house market crashes, it will inevitably go up.
Yeah. I'm actually hoping the house market crashes. That's the best time to buy a house, honestly.
Right. And we haven't bought one yet. But again, even if it crashes, it's not like your stocks. Because if you invested in a stock and it crashes, it's like, oh no, I've made less money. If your house market crashes, it's like, okay, I have a house.
Right.
It's like, okay, don't sell the house, just live. You can still take advantage of the purchase, which is what makes it a very safe investment. And on top of that, as we're saving money right now to make a purchase on a house one day, that's our first house. Market value most likely will go up. Then later on, have kids someday or something, we're ready to move on to the next phase. You sell that house.
Phase 2.
The Ericksons. Part 2. The revenge of children. But you sell the house at a profit and then use that money to buy the next house, which is an upgrade.
Right.
So now it's like,
or keep the first house, have it as like a rental property.
You like that idea, huh?
Yeah. I mean, that's what your uncle does. Like,
he does that a lot, yeah.
He's got like 10 houses.
Do you like the idea of like buying up a bunch of houses and renting them out?
Honestly, I would not work if we had that many houses. I would just, you know, manage the properties and make sure everyone pays rent and everything.
That's what I'm not into.
Is like getting money from people.
Well, that and what to do when they stop paying you, or if they stop paying you, or if they start asking for handouts and stuff like that. Like my uncle's had to deal with a lot of evictions.
Evictions?
As in, like, they stop paying.
He has a secret, though, about how to get people out of the house if they stop paying.
Let's tell everyone the secret.
Okay, well, you tell them. He's your uncle.
No, you go ahead.
Okay,
I don't remember it that well.
If you go with a traditional eviction, it's like a 7-month process or longer than that. It depends on how willing they are to move out. So what his uncle does is if he wants someone to move out and they don't want to, he says, I'm going to give you $500 cash. I always say cash because you can't say in the future, I'll give you $500.
Cash money.
So he gives them $500 cash, and he also says, I'll help you move into the new place that you're going to. That way they really have, you know, they have this incentive of moving out. Plus he's making it easier for them to move out. And he says it's worked like 100% of the time. Right?
From what I've recalled, I've never heard that not working. I'm sure it gets messy, and a lot of landlords probably wouldn't do that because they have to lose money, which sounds counterintuitive. It's like, okay, they're not paying you rent, so now you pay them. It's like, why would I do that? You know, they owe me money. Why am I paying them money? But it's like, sadly, you're going to lose more money as the landlord
every
if you
month.
allow
They don't
them.
pay rent. That's money lost.
If they don't pay rent, you're losing money. So it's actually better to just straight up pay them. Because sadly, as the person who's not paying their rent and thinks that they can just live in a house for free, they're thinking short term.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever living situation you got to or work situation you got to, and you're not paying rent, and you're just hoping that the landlord's nice to you, that means that you don't have a great plan for
Right.
your foreseeable future. So that plan for the landlord works because it's like, here, short term, you get cash. Here's your
Mm-hmm.
money. And they go, well, that's money.
Right.
You're like, hey, I'll take that. So that instantly gets them out the door, because otherwise, and then he changes the locks like instantly.
Good.
He changes them like right away, because if you get squatters, you'll start losing money, and sometimes the cops can't even help you out that much. But
Yeah, honestly, it infuriates me that people take advantage of the system where it's like the tenant is usually, I guess, has the upper hand in the situation. Like, considering how long it takes to evict someone, you're living someplace rent free.
yeah,
And it's like,
yeah.
what kind of person are you that you think that's okay?
Right. It's just like, I know this person bought this house, and I know they're
Yeah,
investing
they work
in
so
it.
hard to get this house, and I get to live in it and trash it. Usually, those people are not the most respectful people.
No, there's been a lot of sad situations with that, but yeah. I apologize to the people who keep trying to write, subscribe to PewDiePie. We have, both of us have.
Yes,
And this is not the best place to advertise it, because we're very
you're
PewDiePie
preaching
friendly. So
to the choir,
you're preaching to the choir. Go put that
and
somewhere
we
else.
sing very horribly.
And I also want to give a quick. That was great. I love that note. And I also want to give a shout out to our mods who are doing an awesome job right now. Thank you very much.
Good job.
We
guys.
appreciate the mods. Thank you. But yeah, there are property taxes to deal with, but still, I think real estate's a good investment, and I see that. I still like Teslas.
Yeah. Well, this
It's a
is
good
a
balance.
very long-term plan. Like our short-term plan right now is to stay out of debt. Like that's
That's
biggest
a really
thing.
important one.
Yeah. A lot of people our age think it's okay to, rack up hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt.
Mm.
And I don't even like using my credit cards because that means I owe someone something.
Yeah, you're kind of interesting about that. You will intentionally do you still have your credit card?
I do. Well, that
you
banker
wanted
lady.
to get rid of it.
Yeah, but that banker lady was like, just cut them up, like. Or,
She's like, just don't use them.
yeah, she said don't use them, but I feel like that's even worse.
Because the credit card company is going to be like, well, you have a credit card, but you're not using it.
Yeah,
Why
you
aren't
have a
using
very
it?
low credit score. Someone, or I think it was Dave Ramsey said, it's better to have no credit score than a low credit score.
Is that true?
I have no clue.
Because I don't know what situation, but I've been asked my credit score in the past. But yeah, I don't really have anything against credit cards as long as you remember to pay them off. That's my only hold up with them. But
pay them off in full and not have like a remaining balance.
No.
Every month.
Every month I make sure it's always at zero. I never have carryover. But you're a little bit different because you intentionally, you're like, I won't spend $3 on the credit card.
Right.
You want everything to be debit, and that's fine. I get that. The only reason I really use the credit card is that so we can have a credit score.
But
just
why
in
do we
case.
need a credit score is what I'm saying. Like my goal is to save up enough money so that we can just buy a house outright. Like how nice would that be? We don't need to rely on credit scores and all that. I know it's not feasible for everyone, but I think in our case we're very motivated and goal oriented. So in maybe 5-7 years we'll be able to save up that much money.
Sure. Well, I for me, like in your sense that I don't use the credit card to borrow money. A lot of people do. A lot of people will buy things on the credit card because they can't afford something.
Well, I'm saying, why do you need a credit score? Like, why do you feel you need a credit score if you don't need to borrow money?
There are, and Sweeney got mentioned in the chat, there are some incentives the bank will give you.
Such as?
Rewards points, which I
But
get a lot
that
of.
just causes you to spend more money. Like, if you just didn't spend that money in the first place, we'd have more money to have.
Well, I'm not like intentionally going out of my way to use the credit card.
That's what they make you think, Drew. Honestly, I'm like Shane Dawson now. Conspiracy theories.
Thank you for the super chat, Rockford Tech. Greatly appreciate that. But I just mean I don't go out of my way to buy things with the credit card. We have the same bank account. You can see how often I buy stuff. But I use the credit card on things we would have to buy anyway.
Right.
Like I always use it for gas. I use it for groceries. I use it for when we go out to dinner. All things that we would have bought anyway.
Okay, one thing I want to bring up.
What's that?
Randy says, I know who Louise has been listening to. I'm glad you are on the same wavelength as me. Oh,
Joe
Nick.
Rogan.
She says, I'm listening to Nick or something. I forgot what I was going to say. What were we talking about?
I was saying that I use my credit card on gas and groceries and when we go out to dinner and
stuff. So one thing is, sometimes I feel you use the credit card as a justification to go out more often than we should. Like, do you remember we had like $70 like on top of the credit card?
Yeah.
Like the credit card company owed us money.
I didn't know what you were referring to, but yeah. No, I don't.
Yeah. You're like, let's go out so that goes down to zero.
Well,
but
see,
literally, we could use that on actual bills, Drew.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
No, I just kind of bring that up because I think it's a little weird. It's mostly because before we were married, I never returned anything.
Oh, wow. Big super chat.
Oh, thank you, Rockford Tech. Face ID says Rockford iPhone 4 says Jeremiah. I don't know what that means, but thank you for the super chat.
That's very cryptic. Can you explain that?
They can explain it via next super chat.
Okay.
But thank you for the donation.
Yeah.
I never returned things before we were married. If I bought something, I just kept it, even if it's
right.
sometimes.
You were a little bit of a tech hoarder, I'd say.
I still am to a certain extent. I still got.
I mean, I am too. I still have my iPhone 4. I have 2 iPhone 6s.
You have a giant bag full of cables, and we don't know.
Don't judge me.
I'm not. You were listing things. I'm listing
that's
things.
True.
But we often now return things because I'll buy them, and then you'll be like, "Do you really use this?" And I'm like, "Why does it matter if we use it? I bought it." And you're like, well, there's still time to return it. And so Louise taught me how returns work, which is important because we get our money back, which is cool.
Yeah. And you still get the review out of it, which is what originally you intended it for.
Yeah, exactly. So we get the money out of the product anyway. But when we return it, oftentimes I will have paid for it on the credit card, which means that my credit card's now in negative. So Wells Fargo owes me money now.
Right. But, Nick actually just asked a question regarding that.
What's that?
He said, Louise, what do you think about using a credit card to use a product for free during the return period? I think that's similar, right?
As
how
in,
you would like you would buy something, you'd owe that money for a little bit, and then you return it, and then they owe us money because we paid, the balance off.
They don't.
Does that make sense?
Well, you don't. They don't. No one ends up owing you money at the end of the day.
I'm saying,
you break even, right?
Yeah, but with the credit card, if you had bought something and then returned it.
Okay.
So let's say like you had it for a month.
Okay.
But during that month, you paid off your credit card. And then by the time you return the item, then that money goes back into the account. And so the credit card company owes you money. I'm saying that's kind of pointless. Like, just use your debit card. Like, you don't need to.
No, you can. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know if that was fully your question.
Like, excuse me. I get that debit is more simple because it's like, you have this much.
Yeah.
Now I give you this much. I have lost that much. Like, it keeps things more simple. I get that.
Yes.
But for
Nick
me, it's
says,
like
the points are all that matter. Well, you think like Drew does.
Well, it's not. To me, it's the credit card is like a debit card because it's not. I never buy something on the credit card because I can't afford it right now. Everything I buy, I can already afford. The difference is if I buy it with the credit card, then I can get money back. So why not do that anyway?
I understand where you're coming from. I just feel like having a credit card is a hassle because I have to think about paying it off, and I'd rather just have it go straight from my debit account or my checking account. That way I don't have to think about like, oh, I got all these bills that I need to, I already got PG&E and Wi-Fi and our rent, and it's just bills piling on top of each other.
No, that's a good point. It's more to keep track of.
Yeah. Daniel brought up a good point. He said the main reason a credit card is better is for security. If you get scammed on the internet, you have the credit card money protection, but the debit card you don't. So basically, if you were hacked somehow, you can call up your credit card company and say, this charge is not like valid, like this wasn't me, and then they can, retract it. But if someone like uses your debit card, like you can't get that money back because it's like straight out of your account. Like there's kind of that holding period of like, this is actually like my transaction versus it's someone else's.
That's a good point. Didn't your friend have that just last night?
Yeah. So my friend is going to London for a 21 Pilots concert, and she's going to go to France as well. So she booked this like French hotel
Yeah.
that she could stay at.
Mm-hmm.
And there was an error on the website, and she thought she didn't book it. So she
Oh.
like rebooked it.
There's like a network error.
Yeah. And then it turned out she had booked it twice. And
Ooh.
she was really worried. She's
That's not
like,
good.
I mean, I'm not going to stay in both rooms. And she was trying to contact the hotel, and they were like, your request is denied.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was telling her, like, just call your credit card company and tell them, like, the second charge is false. Like,
Right.
they can't charge you twice if you're not going to actually use it.
Right. True. Okay. Well, we got a super chat who said, I super chat Louis Rossman, and I said Face ID. He then said that, and then he said iPhone 4. Okay. Thank you for the donation, and appreciate you for keeping us up to date on that.
Mm-hmm.
Reform said that many hotels require you to leave a credit card on file, and that's, I guess, one of my holdups is I don't remember exactly when. I think it was when I was getting internet at my office. They required a credit score, or they check your credit score via your social, I think, or something like that. So that my only reason for using the credit card is just don't go crazy on it. Like my idea is never to, like, oh, I can't afford this, so I'll pay it off over time. Like, I never want to do that. I'll pay the credit card off like every 2 weeks if I have to, like every week. Or when I was little, I used to do it. When I was younger, I used to do it daily. I would genuinely pay off the credit card every day.
Oh, yeah. You told me that. And I was like, I don't think you should be doing that.
Well, it didn't affect my score. My score was still good. But
I remember a banker told me, like, it's better if you wait until the statement comes and then you pay it. Like, somehow that helps your credit score faster.
I think they, in fact, like it when you don't pay it.
Yeah, to show that you're actually purchasing stuff. Because if you pay it off every day, then it looks like you're not using it at all.
Exactly. Yeah. So there's multiple reasons to not /do it, but the good thing is we're married, so
yeah,
I can have one and you don't have to have one.
Yeah,
and
right.
If you
oh yeah, I mean, I should just cut my cards up now.
Right.
I mean, I got you to fall back on.
Right. If you're signing up for something or we're going somewhere and they need a credit score, we can just use mine. And then,
well, what if I travel without you?
Why would you do that?
I'm going on a trip without you next month. You said you had to work.
Oh no, it's difficult. It had to do with Nick and Randy coming too, but
yeah, we're
gonna have our first segueing here from our banking advice.
Yeah, sorry guys, this is like
this is something you're passionate about.
Yeah, I'm a little crazy, and Drew has
not crazy. Drew
has put up with a lot.
No,
from my side,
but
honestly,
it's not putting up.
It may seem like I'm totally against credit cards and against what he's doing, but Drew is very fiscally responsible. Financially responsible, so
That's
I trust him.
iMac Pro's back in the gaming room.
Right. I trust him completely, and like if he wants to use credit cards, then he can. He's his own person.
If I had a history of running up my credit card, you would feel differently, though.
Of course,
that's different. But that's not the situation. I've never missed a credit card balance. I've never been in debt in my life. So yeah, that's not a problem. But anyway, segueing to dang it, I had a perfect segue. What was it?
I don't know. I'm not a mind reader.
Oh yeah, we're gonna take our first little bit of time away for a while.
From each other.
I'm not looking forward to that.
I don't want to think about it.
I'm not. I don't want to think about it too. But we've been together every night, every day since we were married. Now.
Yeah, and yesterday was our 3-month anniversary.
Yeah, that's right. That was yesterday. I'm sorry.
2/11.
Did we do something? No. We need to do something special today because today's our Valentine's Day.
Right.
So we're probably going to go out to eat after this.
Well, it's already 6 o'clock, and our friends are coming over at 7:30. So maybe we can push it off tomorrow night.
Gotcha.
Just so we don't have to rush at dinner.
Okay. Well, we can go somewhere quick if you want. Where should we eat, audience?
Yes.
You decide.
There's a poll in the chat.
Exactly. Well, I've enjoyed this, hon. I think we've gone way past our hour.
Well, can we keep going?
Do you want to keep going?
Yeah.
Okay.
We still have more
cool.
stuff to talk about.
I thought if you wanted to wrap up, we can, but we can keep going.
Yeah. Reformed. I agree with you. You said, I totally understand, Louise, but as long as one is financially responsible, credit cards can be very helpful. I feel we're very lucky that, like, we are on our path to buying a house outright, or like buying anything we want outright. And for some people, that's not really like a possibility. If you're, making $18,000 a year, obviously it's going to take you like 50 years to save up for a house.
Yes.
So yeah, in some cases, I'd say like credit cards can be helpful, But for us personally, I don't think it's necessary.
Sure. No, I agreed. I agree. I'll just keep using it, and you don't have to, and we'll leave it at that. I think.
Sorry,
really
I'm shaking, guys.
It's okay. I know it's cold in here. I know. I'm sorry I don't notice things like that, but
That's because you're a Swede.
I'm a Swede.
You've got very like, I don't know. You got
like Shaggy.
You got the warmth to you.
Mm-hmm.
You've said this before.
What's that?
That Swedish people are really like just.
It's a very cold country.
Naturally warm.
I'm kind of built. My heritage is very Swedish, so they're all kind of built for the cold.
And I'm Filipino, so I'm used to like warm weather.
You're used to like island weather pretty much at all times. So it's a little bit different than what I'm used to.
I like our house to be a balmy 82 degrees.
Yeah, I noticed that. But what's funny though is that you can't take showers as hot as I can. You notice that?
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't have to talk about that. You know what? I'm sorry. That's
this
a little
is
personal.
TMI.
Okay, TMI. I apologize. I just like turning up the hot water to like 100 degrees and burning my face off. I don't know. It's enjoyable to me. But
yeah, we're different in that way, I'd say.
What we're not different in is our birthday month.
Yes.
Which it is February, and that means that it is our birth month together. So while I have kept my birthday a secret, Louise hasn't. And your birthday was a couple weeks ago. You're 22 now.
That was exactly 6 days ago. Yeah.
Did
I
you
turned
enjoy
22. It? Yeah, it was perfect.
Good.
On my birthday, we just binge watched TV and stayed home and like we're super lazy.
Yeah. We had a party the day before.
Yeah. So on February 5th, we had friends over and family and we played board games. And it was so fun.
What was that game we played called?
We played Cards Against Humanity. Is that the one?
Oh, before that.
Code Names.
Code Names.
Yeah.
That's a lot of fun. If you guys have heard of that, it's like, how would you describe it? It's not really like anything, is it?
Well,
it's kind of very unique.
It's really hard to explain. Like you have to play it in order to understand, and it takes a few rounds to fully understand. But basically, it's like word association.
Yeah. So there's like one person who knows what cards the other. You're right. It's too hard to explain.
Just look it up, guys.
look up Code Names if you want to know how to play that, because we can't explain it.
I want to respond to Joe Rush. He said, "I'm ashamed of you, Louise. No new video on the Erickson channel in 2 weeks.
Oh no.
Who's gonna be the mafia boss now? I don't know what that means. Oh, because that's
how mafia works.
Level 100.
Like
yes, I'm sorry for not posting. I'm not gonna make excuses. It was honestly just because I was lazy.
Come on. You gotta give her a break, people. She's working 5 days a week.
I work full time.
Job.
Not 12 hours.
Basically
I work 10 and a half hours.
You leave the house at 3:45. You get home at when?
4.
So it's 12 hours.
So yeah, I work full time, and also I was sick like for a whole week, and I was just feeling awful, and I was like, I can't do this. But I did edit a video today, so as soon as we're done with this, I'll probably put it up so that you guys can watch it.
In fact, because of this live stream, we're not uploading it right now.
Yeah.
So
anything, blame him.
Blame me, because this is what I wanted to do. This was an idea I had because, she's working, and you're not completely in love with this job. You're not terribly. I'm referring to your full-time job. You're not in love with it.
Yeah, I think I'm like most people. Like I'm feeling a little stuck right now, and it's not a place where I want to be. So I'm trying to think of better career paths that I can follow, and Drew's been very supportive of me in whatever I want to pursue next. Of
course. And I sadly come from a very different upbringing, because I did not have the same work career or job finding story that a lot of people have had. Even in my family, that's been difficult to relate with other people on, because a ton of the time it's like, well, I'm debating if I should go to college or if I should work here, and I should work here. And I'm kind of like, well, I just started making videos and that worked out. So
you're very, I mean, I don't want to say you're lucky, because you worked for it.
I feel lucky. It feels like it was a lot of luck involved, because a lot of the time I see those old videos that take place in the attic, and I'm like, that wasn't long ago. I remember that. Like I still remember
beginnings.
It's fairly, yeah, it was pretty humble beginnings, but it still doesn't feel like a long time ago. I still
Right.
remember it very, very
Yeah.
clearly.
I
So
think
to me, it's like, how the heck did all this change and I'm able to do this as a full-time job? It's incredible. So I do feel very lucky, but um, yeah, a lot of people miss the green walls.
which is so funny because a bunch of people like hated on you for having the green
Yeah.
walls when you were there.
Marquez, Brownlee. It's just sorry. No, he didn't say he hated the room. It was just we were doing the collab in the attic,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like, "Now I really hate the color green. So if someone made a green phone, I wouldn't like it." And
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you can see it in the video, but when he said that, I was like this. I was like, "Oh no!" You know, it was like a embarrassment moment. But regardless, what were we talking about?
I
We
have
fell off
no
the track
clue.
somewhere. Sometimes I
We've
just
been like credit cards to popcorn to the green walls.
Did you enjoy your birthday? That's what we were talking
Yes.
about.
Yes, I did. And I think just spending it with Drew was perfect.
Mm, thank
Honestly,
you.
you brighten my day. And it feels like my birthday every day.
Good. Well, that's a good way of looking at it because
Mhm.
it's also your birthday never if it's your birthday every day.
Really?
That's the sad way of looking at it. But we don't have to do that. In the skit, MKBHD was that line scripted? Yeah, I mean, I asked him to say that, but they're curious of we were talking about your job. I'm sorry. I don't want to derail it off that topic. You're kind of thinking about where you want to go and where you want to pursue, and there's no pressure, obviously, for me. I want you to be able to pursue whatever you feel called to or whatever
Thank
you
you.
enjoy.
Mm.
But this podcast even was one of the ideas I had. I was like, it's not going to make a ton of money. It's
Right.
not gonna be a huge source of income. But if maybe you want to work on this podcasting thing and kind of treat it as a part-time job, it doesn't have to be much.
Yeah.
And if you enjoy it, we can keep doing that. And just kind of be consistent about it, and maybe people will like it. I don't know. We'll see. But the
Right.
most important thing is that you like it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't like it, you don't have to keep doing it. So
Well, thank
anyway,
you.
you're welcome.
Sorry,
for
guys.
sure.
I have an eyelash in my eye.
Oh, shoot. I'm
It's
sorry,
stuck
hon.
in there.
Oh,
It's okay. I'll
that
deal with
happens
it.
a lot.
But yeah, with your offer, like, that's such a crazy thing for me to even fathom
Mhm.
that, like, this could be a job. And honestly, this is your job, so it's not like
Kind of, yeah.
super out there.
Yeah.
But I was thinking, like, it's probably better to just do this part time
Sure.
and grow it before fully committing to it, because I don't want to be completely out of work. Like,
Mhm.
like I don't want to drag us down or keep us
No,
from getting our goals.
you won't drag us down. Don't worry about that. But my main goal, we talked a little bit about this when we were first pitching the idea of the podcast, was if your goal in life, this goes to the listeners too, to people out there thinking about what they want to do or what they want to pursue.
Mhm.
If your goal in life is to find a job that's going to provide you with really good benefits and a really good income, good money, then that's going to be the driving force keeping you there. That's the thing you got to remember. Like, I'm not going to use names, but the job you're working at right now, it pays pretty good, and the benefits are decent. Like, they're
Yeah.
really nice.
I literally paid $10 or $20 a month for health insurance, and that includes like dental, vision,
That's
regular
great.
health, life insurance. Like, I have like all the insurances,
Right.
but I'm so young. Do I really need all those insurances?
Well, you hope you don't. That's kind of the thing with
Yeah.
insurance, is that you're like, well, I hope I don't need this, but it's good that it's there because it
Yeah.
provides you with insurance.
Mhm.
But yeah, when it comes to other people out there and thinking about what you want to do, if you're looking for the job with the benefits and the money, that's going to be the driving force. And that's great that you can find something with stability, because I don't even have that as a YouTuber.
Yeah.
YouTube freaks out, has weird glitches, has algorithm glitches, has notification problems, which all affect my income. But again, the driving force for me is that I enjoy this and I want to do this. I think a couple months ago you asked me a really deep question that I think everyone should ask themselves. If money wasn't a factor and you had unlimited money, what would you be doing with your life? That's deep, because money's such a huge major factor in our lives
Yeah.
that affects how people
Runs
behave.
the world, really.
It really does run the world. And when you asked me that, I was like, I think I would be doing the same thing, just with a higher budget. You know, like this is what I feel passionate about. And this is what I enjoy doing, which is why, to me, when you say, you know, Drew works 12 hours a day, it doesn't feel like that. You know, I feel like I'm just messing around with my toys in my office, but ultimately
you're passionate about it. That's
the
why
money
it feels like a hobby more than a job.
Right. And it's why I'm not like against, it's not why I'm against like doing smaller live streams or live streams that don't make much money, because for me, the enjoyment comes with the process, and the income from you guys watching or from the super chats, that's all just allowing me to not have to worry about expenses so that I can continue to pursue what I do. And if money wasn't a factor, I'd probably just blow more money on this, on making this better. So when we were talking about what you wanted to do or what you wanted to pursue, I was like, well, you can look for jobs that have really good income and really good benefits. Just remember that that's going to be the driving force as you're working through them. You know, even if it's 12-hour days, 5 days a week, you're going to be thinking about the money and about the income. Whereas if you pursue a job, not necessarily for how great the money is, but or how great the benefits are, but you're pursuing, do you enjoy it? Are you having a decent experience with it? Or do you feel passionate about this? That will be the driving force. So when you do it on a daily basis, or when you do it and it's your work and it's your career, you're going to be thinking about that passion, not necessarily the money comes with it, because that's really not what I'm thinking about.
Yeah. I think most people think of a job or a career like I do, like what's going to make me the most money. And I feel like I was focused too much on like how good my boss can pay me or stuff like that. But honestly, the way to go is how you did it. You paved your own path. You didn't rely on anyone else. Like, you're your own boss.
Yeah. And that there's good things with that and bad. I would definitely say it hurt. Is your eye hurting?
Yeah, I'm just going to look in the camera because...
Oh, that sucks.
Keep talking.
Do you have fake eyelashes on, or?
No.
I can't tell. They're just so beautiful.
Oh, thanks. Your eyelashes are like twice as long as mine. Let's talk about his eyelashes later. But just focus on.
I do have long eyelashes
for now.
So okay, I'm sorry. Just turn up your audio. It's that easy, dude. What were we talking about? Like with jobs and what we pursue. Yeah. Being your own boss is a nice thing because you can control your schedule. That's probably the best thing. The worst thing about being your own boss is how it affects personal relationships, I think. Because now, and I'm not just talking about family and friends, like sometimes I have to make really difficult decisions just for a marriage. Like usually when we talk about going on trips and stuff, you know, when we talk about like, oh, do we want to make a trip to the Philippines this year, and do you want to visit your family? And I have to think like, I can't 100% tell you yes, but I'm the one who gets to decide if I get a vacation or not.
Right.
I don't have like some external factor to say, well, I can't, my boss wouldn't give me time off. I have to say, no, I can't because I'm going to work, and I decide if I'm going to work or not. So that's a lot of kind of responsibility / pressure to be like, can you take time off or can you not? And that's difficult with family, like when they want to hang out or when you want to go to family dinners or lunches and stuff, and they're like, can you make it tonight? Can you come over? And I have to say, nope, I'm working. I got stuff going on, because it's still your choice. Like ultimately, yeah, I could decide to blow off work and hang out with them.
But then that would put you behind.
Exactly. So all that responsibility falls back on you. So that's the rough part about being your own boss. But
it's a very precarious situation. And honestly, I'm surprised how you're still able to, you know, give time to your friends and family. Like you go to a bunch of family events and family outings, and I'm like, wow, I thought, you know, work was super important. It is super important, but somehow you're still able to find that balance between that. I think it's rare.
Well, and it's not too hard to make that decision too, because I really care about my family.
You love your family.
And I love being
his family
with them.
too.
They're very sweet, and well, you are a family. We're all my family's your family.
I just mean like your blood relatives.
Yeah, my blood relatives. I'm really really close to. So Yeah, making time for them is fairly simple. In fact, making time for work, I would say, is more difficult because at the end of
Yeah.
the day, I'm like, I'm sure the iPhone's gonna suck, and I know that the next Apple event's gonna be boring. Why does it matter? Why do I have to go on YouTube and tell everyone about that? Like,
Mhm.
but at the end of the day, it's like, well, that tech channel that you might not love so much all the time, that's kind of what allows you to do what you do, and that money's going to go towards your house, and that's going to
Mhm.
help Louise
Yeah.
and yourself and further your future. So I justify a lot of the time, but I'm still genuinely interested in tech, and I like
Mhm.
following it. You know how often I talk about technology at home
Right.
and ask you about your phone and stuff like that. So you know I'm like, I'm not faking that I'm into the tech field, but
Definitely not.
it still gets tiresome here and
I'm
there.
sure it does. You're a superhero. I think so. I
That's too
admire
much.
you so highly.
Thank you, hon. Well, I admire you too. I admire your diligence because I feel like I could be more efficient, or I
No,
could
hon,
work harder.
you're too hard on yourself, honestly.
Well, I think it's best to have an optimistic viewpoint of we're doing great. You know,
Yes.
I don't have that negative outlook. You know, I have the opinion of we're doing great. I'm really proud of the network. I'm really proud of myself for how much content we're able to produce.
Hmm.
I always say we. I don't know why.
Yeah, I noticed that, and I asked you about that, and I was like, "You're a one-man show." But
I'm just naturally feel like saying we for some reason
yeah,
because I feel
I
like
know you
the
want to feel
network
like
and
right.
the
You want to feel like there's people in it with you,
yeah.
and you have lots of people helping you.
I do. We have Nick Ann Sweeney. I have Randy Vasquez.
Yes, they're in the chat, guys. Hello.
They're listening, and we have even people I don't know in person, like Michael and Sup. They're fans I've come to know by name, very very closely, and because of that, I just feel like it's a community. You know, it's a group of people that are all in it together, and that's why I guess I naturally say we. But I'm very proud of that. But I still have I still have the mindset of like it could be better though. You know, like we can be better. It's a difficult balance to be like we're positive, we're happy where we are, but we still don't want to accept that this is as
Right.
good as it gets. I don't want to settle. Basically,
Yeah,
I always want
contentness is the killer of creativity and improvement.
Yep, that was it. Hit the nail on you nail on the head.
I hit the head on the nail.
To quote YouTube Rewind, I'm so proud of this community. Thank you, Krista.
Where's our bonfire? I'm like, I need something to warm me up.
Is there a moment we can give to Louise representation?
What?
I don't know. I'm just quoting YouTube Rewind. That was very beautifully said.
Thank you.
But yeah, I think that delicate balance of like we're gonna do better. We're gonna do more things. We're gonna be better. And honestly, being able to sit down and finally handle this Talks podcast was a big one.
Yeah.
Like finally
I'm
be
glad
able
we're
to
doing
tackle this.
because this is just like what we do at home, except now other people get to watch us.
Yeah. And they send us money.
Yeah. And
That's
we
the best
answer
part.
life's toughest questions.
That's true.
Like, if there was a room with no windows and no doors, would there be dust in it?
So this is a question she asked me this morning, and we got into a
I'm
little fight over it.
genuinely curious.
What's funny, I think we talked about this during our counseling, and this was not a counseling because we were having problems. This is just premarital counseling we took just to make sure that you know how to debate when you get married. And
Yeah.
I'm very glad we did that
And
counseling.
that we know each other well enough.
But I noticed during our premarital counseling that we always argue about things that don't really matter to us.
Mm-hmm.
Have you noticed that?
Yeah, we debate about things that have nothing to do with our relationship, nothing to do with our like personal lives.
We
It's
get like
more
genuinely mad sometimes.
like we had like a 4-hour debate a couple months. Well,
about
not a-
weed.
Yeah, about weed. It was right there in that room.
Yeah, right.
And
over
his
there.
friend Ross was sitting on the couch listening to us debate
Poor
for about
Ross.
4 hours.
He had to sit through so much of us bickering.
What was the argument? It was like, should
I don't
we?
want to get too political,
Okay,
but it
yeah,
was
let's not-
basically more of a with the for slash against
Yeah. Not that
marijuana
we do
use.
it. Like
Neither of us smoke weed. None of us do weed, but
Do you do the
do
weed?
you do the weed, young
I'm
kids?
gonna call 911.
I'm calling the police. Goes to
420.
microwave 911. Yeah, we're not going to get into that debate, but we get really, really defensive about things that don't matter.
Yeah.
That don't
But
affect us.
when we debate, like, I wouldn't consider it arguing because we keep like the personal stuff out of it. I don't say like, what is it called? Ad hominem, when I'm attacking his appearance versus his like argument.
Yeah.
I'm not saying your hair is red and you're ugly and that's why weed should be legal.
Right.
Like, we're just trying to stay on topic and on point and trying to see each other's perspective, which I think is an important thing to do when you're in a relationship and you have these differences. It's not necessarily that you need to agree on everything, but just try to see the other person's point of view.
Exactly. That's kind of my whole objective with Taylosive Tech, was for the internet to get the hang of, hey, you can like Apple products and not be an idiot. What? Impossible.
Alan says weed reduces dust. Does that mean if you put weed in a room that has no doors and no windows, that there'd be no dust?
That was the question. Yeah. You were like, okay, if someone built a room and it had no windows, no one was ever in the room, and it had no doors, no contact.
Someone said, how about vents? No vents either.
There's no vents. Okay. So no holes or anything. It's a really compact wall.
Should it be an airtight room?
This is your hypothetical,
well,
so you tell me.
I'm thinking like what walls are made of is different than obviously like glass or something that could be airtight. Like water and stuff could leak through the wall. And I was also thinking, how would you...
Is this drywall? Is this standard wall? Or are you talking like it's made of lead or something?
Standard wall.
Okay, so just a regular
standard
drywall.
Room, yeah. Okay. I mean, it's not a standard room, obviously, if there's no windows or doors or vents. But I was thinking, if you put a book right in the middle and you went back like 10 years later, would there be dust on it? And Drew was saying yes, because there's dust inherently in the room.
I think just air naturally has dust in it. Like, I don't think you need a human to be present in the environment for there to be dust, because there's been like...
Oh, yeah.
Think of underground bunkers people found like 50 years after they were sealed.
Well, those aren't exactly airtight. There's doors and everything, like, to go into it.
I mean, they were like they were designed for like nuclear attacks, though, and they go in them. Obviously, if you go into a really old place, there's like dust on everything. So I'm just like, dust kind of just accumulates over time from, I mean, it could be sheds of the drywall, it could be air, it could be...
Another part of my argument is dust. I read this somewhere that 70% of dust is like skin cells and like hair cells, like stuff that falls off of the human body.
I mean, living with me, there's probably even more dust.
Yeah.
If you think about all my psoriasis.
Yeah, you shed a lot, but it's okay. We have lint rollers, psoriasis rollers.
Yeah.
Also, I apologize for shivering, guys. I'm like really cold for some reason.
Don't apologize.
It's 48 degrees. 48 degrees in here.
In here?
I don't know. So
that's the outdoor weather, but you're
this
right.
is basically outdoor weather. You don't have the heater on.
I've offered multiple times, but
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh. Chase Powell asks, Louise, are you and Andrew planning on getting a dog? You know, I'm going to let you answer this one.
Really?
Yes.
You want me to?
Yes.
No. We're not pet people at all. I know some people may hate us for this.
Oh, yeah. We're going to lose about 20 subscribers.
We're going to lose half our audience for saying this, but I do not like dogs at all. And I apologize if someone I know personally is watching this, but I am not a fan of dogs. I don't get the love of them. A lot of people love dogs. I don't get it. I don't understand why they think their dog is lovable towards them, because a dog loves anything.
Right. You give it food and shelter, so it relies on you to be
Not
alive.
Even that. Like, dogs will love murderers. They wouldn't know. They
Yeah, that's true.
They love sticks.
No,
They'll love.
I feel like
dogs will eat
sense
things
stuff,
that
though.
kill them.
They can sense like when storms are coming, so maybe they can also sense if you're evil.
They can sense if you're evil. I don't know. We're not really pet people at all. I mean, I had a cat growing up named Pickle, who's, I mean, they're somewhat he's close to dying, but it's sad. But yeah, I grew up with Pickle. If anything, I'm more of a cat person, but honestly, I'm more of a neither, because I must say, not having a pet makes our life so much easier.
Right.
Maybe I could use the excuse that our lives are too busy for an animal. We don't have time to take care of a pet.
We both work full time, and if we want to go on trips, like for me personally, it's not that I hate animals. Like animals are cute, especially when they're little, like a puppy or a kitty.
Yeah.
But I mean, we dog sat for one of our friends, and it was literally one of the most stressful experiences I've ever had.
And it was
in my
like
life.
2 days.
It was like 2 nights,
Yeah.
3 days.
It wasn't that long, and we were miserable the whole time because we were like, you couldn't leave the dog for too long, and the dog had to sleep in the room with you, and the dog licks itself all night.
Yeah, and tries to lick your face.
Yeah, it's always trying to lick you, and I know not all dogs are the same.
I think this dog was like especially heinous. No offense to this dog. But like literally,
we love our friends, which is why we happily watched
Yeah.
over the dog. But
we like our friends, so we will do a favor for them.
yeah,
But it was like invading our personal space 24/7. Like we could, as soon as you walked into that door, his giant paws are going on your shoulders. Like this dog was just crazy.
so we had a brief experience of knowing what owning a pet was like, and we hated it. So we were and before we dog sat, we were pretty confident we didn't like dogs, because when I first met you, you were like, I'm not really a dog person, and I was the same way. I was like, I never had a dog growing up. I don't have a nostalgia attachment to dogs. Same thing with Nintendo. I don't care about Nintendo.
So this
But
just
I
concretized
understand there's well-behaved dogs. I've dog sat other dogs before that weren't that bad, that were much more well-behaved. It's just it's an extra level of responsibility that I don't need.
Raw.
On top of that,
I said raw.
That was so raw, bro.
Rada.
You're blowing my mind right now about dogs. I love not having to worry about like what's going on at my house when I'm at work, and we don't have to worry about like, who's gonna watch it when we're out of town?
Who's gonna feed it?
Who's gonna feed it? Who's gonna take care? Like we don't have to. This dog in particular, he had to get up in the middle of the night to let it go to the bathroom.
It was really creepy. Like he would get up at 12 a.m. And just stare at you like you're in bed. And Drew was like waking up every couple hours to let him out, and I felt so bad, but I had work at 3:30.
Yeah, you had to work really early, so
and that
I
was
didn't
my
want her to
excuse
get
of
up.
getting out of the responsibility. I was
That's
like,
fine.
You
It was
take care of him.
mostly my fault because I agreed to it and you didn't. They kind of asked us to watch the dog, and I'd watched dogs before, so I was like, oh sure, yeah, we'll watch the dog, and you were like, you agreed to that already? Like,
I know, I was a little shocked.
Yeah, but yeah, we're not interested in adding that level of responsibility, because one day we're gonna have kids, and that's already gonna throw us off. And I'm sure raising kids is really difficult, so we'd rather just enjoy our freedom, independence now.
Yeah, it kind of feels like Drew and I are bachelors together. Does that make sense?
Bachelors together.
Bachelors.
That could be the name of this podcast.
Bachelors together. But
No.
am I a bachelorette though? Because I'm a female.
But we're married, so it doesn't.
Yeah, I don't know. I just
doesn't
mean
work.
like we have so much freedom to literally do anything we want, and usually the other person says yes. So
Yeah, I wanted a dog when I was little, and I asked my parents, "Can we get a dog? I want a dog," and they were like, "No, you don't want a dog." I was like, "Yeah, I do, Mom, I do." And now I grew up and started having to take care of one, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm so glad my mom didn't let us get a dog." Because similar to our cat, it's like, oh, we want to play with it, and then you go off and do something else, and your parents are left taking care of it for the rest of their lives. But so yeah, even if our kids want a dog, we're gonna be firm on that. Or in particular, our landlord right now would charge us extra for a pet.
yeah, there's like pet rent and also pet deposit.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
having pets is not only like stressful, at least for me, it is. It's also financially a drain on your wallet.
For sure. Speaking of pets, how is Pickle? I mentioned earlier he's not doing too well. He's getting really slow. Every time I see him, I film him because I'm not sure if it's going to be the last day. He can't lay down right. I tried to pet him, and he almost fell over.
Oh my gosh.
But to be fair, he was always kind of fat and slow. Now he's all...
I always thought of him as like a fat like tick full of blood.
He seems
like that.
Yeah, he seems like unnecessarily, like, I don't know what you call it. He's really plump, but he's still really bony on his collar. And
I think that's just because of like he lost the weight and now he just has excess skin that's like weighing him down.
It really doesn't look good. He's like 17 years old. He's probably gonna die this year.
This is
it's sad, but
another what's the opposite of a perk? Like a
A con.
A con, yeah. Another con of having a pet is like someday it's gonna die, and then imagine how emotionally distraught you're gonna be. Like, I'm not really a pet person, but I've gotten used to Pickle, and now I'm attached to him, and I'd feel sad when he dies.
Yeah, we had Pickle when I was 4 years old. I was super young, and I'm attached to it for nostalgia reasons, but more like I'm more attached to Pickle because of, not because he's a cat and I love cats. I'm not like a super big cat person. More that what his presence in our life kind of represented. Like Pickle to me kind of represents my childhood and like how much fun we had as
And also
kids.
your home.
And he's always lived at that same house, the attic house that we started Talos in. And now that they're thinking about moving pretty soon and they're going to sell the house and Pickle's going to die, it's like it's the end of an era, really. And that's what's making me more upset, is just the transitional phase of life and how that's all going to be left behind soon.
That's what feels like is the theme for this year, is change. Like both
There's
of our families are, planning to move to different states, different countries.
Yeah.
People are moving on in their lives, and also pets dying, and
Yeah.
change is sad, but it's also necessary for growth.
Yeah,
as hard as it is.
I don't have any regrets. I don't want anything to. I'm happy for your family and for my family, for like they're moving on and they're going to places that they want to be, and that's good for them. I don't wish otherwise, but it's still sad. It's still like nostalgic and remorseful to be like, oh, that's not going to happen anymore. Like they're not going to be a drive away anymore. And you used to go to the house and you pet Pickle and you go inside. That's like the experience, and that experience is going to be gone. Yeah. And we're getting down to the end of it now, which is kind of the sad part. But there's going to be new memories, of course, and we're going to start our own family someday, and we did
start our own family. It's just you and me now.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, not just you and me.
Right.
But
yeah, speaking of
oh no.
Well,
the next
I
one.
found the segue. Speaking of having children, Louise is pregnant. No,
don't even.
We really
I
are.
know
copying.
I've gained some weight, guys.
Drew is
That's
pregnant.
what love does to you. Okay.
Hashtag Drew is
makes
pregnant.
you gain weight.
Next time you dog sit, consider
yes,
billing.
we are reading comments.
We actually did get paid to wash the dog, so
yeah,
it worked out.
Except it was like $15 a day. That's not worth stress.
They're our friends.
Yes,
we were nice.
It was more of a favor.
But yeah, honestly. It was more of a favor. But so I'm pregnant.
No, you're not. He's pregnant with ideas. That's about it.
Hey, that's a good T-shirt idea.
Yeah.
I'm positive for ideas.
Oh. What? Positive? That's usually like HIV.
That's not what I meant.
No.
Oh my God.
Don't even go there.
That's not what I meant. So one time I go on bike rides with my dad.
Yes.
Every
Monday.
Monday? Yeah, every Monday we go on a mountain bike ride. And
I sit home alone waiting for my man to come back from war.
Well, I got to work out.
Yes. Drew's been working out, and he's getting buff.
Like
he's getting
Shaggy.
Real buff.
Yeah. But I'm trying to stay on top of that, because with my job, it's very easy for me to just sit around all day and edit and film and I don't work out that much, and I get really, really tired from working all day. So when I go home, I just want to rest, and then it results in me doing nothing all day.
And I feel the same way. So we're both like kind of encouraging ourselves to just sit on the couch. It's like it's bad.
Well, that's why I'm staying on top of the bike riding thing. Anyway, I was on my way to a bike ride with my dad, and I get a text from Louise.
Why are you talking so fast?
Because I don't know.
Okay.
We have
You're excited.
Friends coming over later. So I get a text from Louise, which is weird because ever since we got married, we don't really text that much, other than updates.
There's no need to. I mean, we see each other every day.
Other than like, I'm coming home. Or,
right. And
can you pick this up? Or,
we always tell each other, drive safe.
Yeah, that's
because we're cheesy.
That's like 80% of our texts now is just drive safe.
Or
drive
I love
safe,
you.
Drive safe, I love you. Drive safe, I love you. That's about it.
Yeah.
So I get a text from her that's not either. It's her saying, I want to talk to you. And I those texts. It's your big deal. When the girl texts you like, I want to talk to you. It's like, well, we already are texting, so we're talking already. So if you say that, that's a big deal, That's like, oh my God.
All right. What am I going to say?
What's she going to say? So obviously, if she said, I want to talk to you, I took that as, well, I'm going to go on a bike ride now because we were almost there. We were like 5 minutes from
I
our
thought you were still at
ride.
the office, so I thought maybe we
No.
could chat for a couple minutes.
No, I was like in the car. My dad was next to me
Mm-hmm.
and we were driving to our bike location. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to do my bike ride now. But once I get home in a couple hours, we can talk. And you were like, no, I need to talk about this now. Like, this is important.
Mm-hmm.
And how exactly did you phrase this?
See, this is why I need to have text in front of me.
That's fine.
Basically, well, can I explain why I did it?
Yeah, go ahead.
So,
Oh, Krista White donated. Thank you very much. She said, congrats on being pregnant with ideas.
oh my, I just read
We're
the
so
first.
excited.
I read the first 4 words and I was like, no,
No.
girl, you got the wrong idea.
Someone donates like $100. You're pregnant. Congrats. We were joking.
Simos, I didn't mean to say that work is like number one. It's definitely not. I'm just saying it's one of our priorities right now because we're trying to get to a point where it's not our priority,
Sure.
if that makes sense.
No, that makes
Anyways, back to the story.
sense. Okay.
I was on Twitter and someone tweeted, text your man, I want a baby, or I want to have a baby, and like post their response. And I was like, I'm genuinely curious to see how Drew would react because we've talked about children before, obviously. And we both agreed like we're going to wait at least 5 to 7 years to have one. But I was like, I want a baby. And he was so serious about it. He's like,
Because you didn't, like, she wasn't sarcastic about it. She wasn't joking.
well, I
wrote a
literally
big
just
paragraph.
said, I yeah, I
You
did.
didn't,
I
you didn't
forgot.
just text me out of the blue like, I want a baby.
Yeah, there
no,
was,
it
like-
was like, I've been feeling this hole in my life. And I want
I've been
to
feeling so
know-
empty.
And while I am happy to be with you, I just can't help but know that there's something that could bring us closer together. And
Oh
it was
my
like this.
goodness.
I'm going to bring it up here. Did you find it?
No.
Because I know it's here. What did
Okay,
you
and
do
then
on
can we
Messenger?
reenact it?
You changed our color.
Oh yeah, do you like it? It's like a rainbow.
Yeah, what did you do? Oh my God, I guess we text a lot more than I thought. I'm sending like
I have to
links to
remember.
chairs and stuff. I want a new chair. Buy me this one.
I don't.
Oh, okay,
Too
I
far
found it.
back.
I found
Yeah,
it.
okay, so read it.
I'll read
to
it
us.
to you guys. So here's the text. I want a divorce. No. I'm
No.
kidding. I said, "What's up?" And you said, "I just wanted to say that I love being married to you. You're a wonderful
is this?
husband." Does it say January 28th?
Okay.
So this was a while
I went
ago.
back too far.
I just wanted to say that I love being married to you. You're a wonderful husband, and I enjoy every moment we spend together. With that said, that's a great way to start it. With that
The
said,
best- Oh,
I've been
goodness.
feeling like there's something missing in our lives. ... I guess what I'm trying to say is ... I want a baby.
A girl knows how to be dramatic. All right.
You were good. You
I had
convinced
to like,
me.
yeah, I had to make it
I
convincing.
accidentally just liked
I
an old
saw
message.
that.
I didn't mean to do that.
That's
So
okay.
my response was, wow.
Okay, I wish we
Cool.
had screenshots that we could put.
It's
'cause
just
this is
you know
hilarious.
that like auto sticker that they have in Messenger of like the dog waving bye.
Yeah.
That could be my response, like
I know.
bye.
And I showed you some of the other
yeah,
responses.
the
that were-
responses you found on Twitter were hilarious.
yeah, and we'll get to those after this. But go ahead
So
and read
I
it.
said, "Wow, that's a big decision, and I love being married to you too, hun. I'm eager to talk about this once I get back." Smiley face.
And that's not what I wanted to hear, honestly.
you wanted
like-
some kind of joke.
I don't know, either something funny or say like, okay, I'll do anything for you. Let me put it. Oh, let's not go there. Okay, let's
not go
reenact this.
Okay.
So I'm the next line.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, no, I want to talk about it now.
We're about to get out of service, hun. I'm sorry. So the place we bike ride doesn't have cellular service. So I was like, well, I'm about to get disconnected. And I said, I prefer to talk about this in person as well. I don't want to, we're married, you know, we see each other a lot because we live together. I think we can talk about this in person. So that's what I said.
Right. And then I said, well, can you at least let me know what you think? Because I was hoping for like a yes or no answer. And he was being so vague and serious. Like, this is such a big decision. We need to have a long conversation about this. Okay, continue.
Oh, yeah. Having a baby should just be like all right, let's go.
No, that's
We're
not
ready.
what I meant.
Yeah, I said, I'm eager to chat about it, and I'm excited for our future. I promise, hon, I'm not trying to ignore you. I'm just trying to get ready to ride. We're here at the parking lot. So I was trying to get my bike stuff on. I was putting on my gloves and things. And then
I
you hit
said-
me with the okay, have fun, which
a
is
little
like
passive aggressive, huh?
which is like the F off
But
response.
this is a fake conversation on my part.
For her, I was panicking.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not ready for this. Now I'm gonna have to tell her tonight. Oh no.
Mhm.
This was stressful.
And then after that, you said,
What did I say? I'm sorry.
you said, I'll talk to you when I get back. I love you.
I'll talk to you when I get back. I love you. Yes. And
Yes.
then what did you say?
I'm not going to read that. Inappropriate.
Sure.
But later that night, we did talk about it. And
Well, I got home.
yes, I don't recall exactly how it went. I just remembered me finally confessing, like, it was just a joke. It was a Twitter dare.
And I was like,
I
Oh
was just
my
about,
God.
well, tell me what, or tell them what you're going to tell me.
well, I knew you'd talked about this thing in the past called baby fever, which is when you watch TV or something, or you watch someone with a kid and they have a really cute kid. So you're kind of like, oh, that makes me want to have a baby. And you've had that before. And I just thought this was an extreme form of it.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought you were in the extreme version of baby fever of like, but you weren't thinking straight, because clearly we've talked about in the past, like we want to wait till we buy a house. We want to wait till we're like
We have all these goals set.
financially set to have a child. We don't want to just randomly have one. We wanted this to be intentional and simple, and we don't want to rush into anything. So I was prepared to give you that whole speech and to tell you that we're not ready yet. And you sounded really excited about it over the phone. So that's why I was so sad, because I thought, I'm going to break her heart tonight. I'm going to have to tell her that.
I just loved how he phrased that. Like, he thought all my dreams are just to have a baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I see how that could be like really disappointing if I actually did want a child right now. But I don't know. I expected you, because I saw some of the other Twitter responses, and a lot
Sure.
of the guys were like, yes, I'll give you a baby right now. And I don't know. I thought,
You were hoping for a cuter response, and I was.
and you were too responsible.
I'm sorry. I got to stop with that.
Yeah, let's move on to a different topic.
Okay. You sure you
divulging
don't want to
too
wrap
many-
up? We just hit 2 hours. You're one
Yes.
podcast back, and we're already longer than the tech podcast.
guys, I'm actually like freezing my butt off, so we're gonna get
Okay.
going. Give
We're
me a
gonna
hug.
wrap up. Okay, we're gonna
Warm me
hug,
up.
and we're gonna wrap up here. But thank you guys for watching. Let us know if you'd love to see
Yes.
more of the Talks podcast, particularly Louise. I know she's so lovable, and we'd love to have you on more often
And
too.
hopefully, I'll be like a regular on the show.
For sure, we need to do this a lot.
Yeah,
Let's do
we're
this all the
thinking
time.
maybe like twice a week would be good.
I think twice a week would be wonderful.
We just need to come up with some really interesting topics, which you can tweet at us at
Telosive Talks on
or
Twitter.
the Ericksons.
The Ericksons, that's your Twitter
Because-
account. That'll work.
Yes, well, it's supposedly our couple's Twitter account.
Yeah. I'm happy to have you here, and I'm happy to completely rip off H3
Yes,
because that's what this is.
except I'm not as cool as Hila. Honestly.
That's true.
But
No,
I got
I'm
her hair.
I'm kidding. I'm
I have
kidding.
her hair. Wait,
You're
you're
way
not
cooler
as cool
than-
as Ethan, so
That's true.
get over yourself.
I don't have the.
Just kidding, hon.
We're cool in different ways. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Really means a lot to us, and thank you for the
Yes.
donations, your questions, and for sticking around during this whole live stream. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye-bye.